Hi everyone, I'm Katrina, and in this video I'm going to show you how to create a professional customized magazine-style website using the amazing Genesis framework by StudioPress and the Genesis child theme called Lifestyle Pro. So I received an email from Shelly asking how to customize the Lifestyle Pro theme. So in this video, in addition to showing you how to get this website up and running, I'm also going to show you how to completely customize the site so that it matches the look and feel of your brand and your business. So let's take a quick tour around the website we'll be creating in this video. So here we are on the homepage of the website we'll be creating in this video using the Lifestyle Pro Genesis Child theme. This particular theme comes with two different menu navigation areas. So here at the top we'll have our primary menu navigation area, followed by the secondary menu navigation area down below. The banner section here is completely customized, so I'll show you in this video how to customize this banner section, including by adding an image in the background as we see here, and also customizing the title as well as the description. Just underneath this header section then begins the content of the homepage, starting with a featured post, followed by a number of different featured categories. Here we have the primary featured category right here, and then we have two smaller featured categories down below. On the right-hand side of the homepage, we'll have a sidebar, starting with an email opt-in form. The sidebar, I want to point out, in this sidebar you can add all kinds of customized content, but in this video, this is the content that I'm going to be adding, starting with an email opt-in form. So the email opt-in form is one of the most important things you can have on your website because it's one of the best ways to capture leads directly from within your site. So in addition to showing you how to add an email opt-in form on your website, I'm also going to show you how to completely customize the look of this so that it matches the colors and the design of the rest of the website. Just underneath the email opt-in form, we'll have an author bio here with a profile pic and a short description, followed by a search box so anyone can easily search for content throughout your website. Then we'll add an image here which has a call to action, which when you click on this, it leads to a landing page. So I'll go over landing pages in just a moment. Underneath this landing page call to action image right here with a link, then we'll have some social icons so anyone can easily connect with you on the social web, either to Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, or YouTube. Then underneath the social icons, finally, we'll have some pins from Pinterest. Now the cool thing about this particular sidebar widget area right here is that when I click on any one of these images, it pops open into a really beautiful lightbox display, which gives your visitors a way to look at all the images but still stay on your website. So it's always a good thing to keep your visitors on your website, of course, and not send them to another website. So having this lightbox feature here is really great. Finally, at the bottom of the website here is the footer. In the footer, you also can have all kinds of customizable content. In this video, I'll be adding once again the social icons so anyone can connect with us, me, your website via the social web. We'll also include a description about the website and a video. So this is what the homepage looks like for the Lifestyle Pro Genesis Child theme. Let's take a look at some of the internal pages, starting with the blog archive page. So when I go to the blog archive page will have all of your blog posts on one page, one by one, vertically down the page like so. And then on the right-hand side, there will be the sidebar once again. So let's take a quick look at one of the internal single blog post pages. So I'm going to click on this particular blog post right here. And then we can see when we go to that post, there will be a date, the author, and comments, followed by the actual blog content. On this particular blog post, I have an image, then I have some text content. Underneath the blog post, we'll have once again this wonderful email call to action, email opt-in form, which it's so good to put these pretty much wherever you can put these on your site, the better. So I'll show you how to add an email opt-in form at the bottom of all your blog posts. Just underneath the email opt-in form, we'll also have some social sharing features so anyone can share your content across the social web, either to Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Google+, or some other social network. Then we'll have an author bio section, and then at the bottom, finally, we'll have a comment form so anyone can comment on your blog post. So that is what the blog post looks like. Let's take a look at the About page. Most likely you're going to want to have an About page about your website and about you. So on this page, this is just a full width page with no sidebar. I'm going to add some content and an image. Next, I have just another page. I'm calling this one Recipes, since this particular demo website is about green juices and wellness and pressed juices. So I added a page, a single page right here. So we see here is the page, and then we have the sidebar on the right-hand side. Then when we click on this particular one, the free 14-day detox cleanse plan, this is a landing page. As we can see with the landing page, there's no menu items anymore, there's no header, there's no logo. All of the attention is really focused on your offer. So having a landing page is a great way to focus attention on some kind of offer that you may want to encourage or motivate someone to take advantage of. Also, this is a great place to add any kind of call to action that you may have. So as we see, this is a landing page. You can read all about landing pages on the web and how to optimize them and make them really effective, but here we can see I have my call to action. Then I'm going to include a few reasons why someone should take advantage of this offer. Reason number 1, reason number 2, reason number 3, and then finally at the bottom I'm going to add this email opt-in form. So I'll show you how to do all of this in this video as well. Going back to the home page, here the final, actually second to last page we have is a contact page we'll be adding in this video. And here the contact page is just as it suggests what it is. This is a great way for anyone to easily contact you directly from within your website by filling out their info in a message and clicking on send. Finally, last but not least, I'm going to add a shop page to this particular website, so I'll show you how to set this up. Here I just have added a couple different images, and I'm going to show you in this video how you can link each of these images to an external website or an internal website. So for example, when I click on this one, it's going to go directly to Amazon.com. So in the event that you have an Amazon affiliate account set up, I've been getting lots of questions about affiliate marketing and things like that, so stay tuned for one of my next future videos. But for the moment, I'm just going to set this up so that when anyone clicks on this, it will go directly to Amazon. Okay, so that is what the shop page looks like, again with the sidebar on the right hand side. So the great thing about this, having the sidebar throughout the website, is that the email opt-in form is always pretty much front and center. You can't get away from it. So this is where we're headed toward in this video. Once again, we're going to be using the amazing Genesis Framework by StudioPress in this website. So before we begin, I want to take a quick moment to head over to studiopress.com to go over the top reasons to use Genesis. So StudioPress has been recognized throughout the web world for their amazing WordPress framework called Genesis and the many child themes that they offer with this framework. As we see here, Genesis and their child themes have been downloaded by over 100,000 website owners. So over 100,000 websites trust StudioPress and the Genesis framework to power their website. So you can be really rest assured that this is a really amazing framework to use for your WordPress website. You can check out all the different reasons, the 8 reasons to choose the Genesis framework here on studiopress.com. Of the many reasons to choose the Genesis framework, here are some of the top reasons at a glance. Number 1, rock solid security. Number 2, blazing fast performance. Number 3, out-of-the-box SEO. Number 4, beautiful mobile responsive designs. And number 5, ultra-flexible foundational code. So the great news with Genesis is that not only are you getting a beautiful design on the outside, but you can be rest assured that the code that is actually generating your website is state-of-the-art code. It's clean, it's optimized, and it adheres to the latest WordPress security standards. And it's for these reasons that over 100,000 website owners, including many of the web's leading internet marketers, bloggers, media producers, and developers, trust the Genesis framework along with the StudioPress child themes to serve their content. So this is where we're headed toward in this video. We're going to create a professional, completely customized WordPress website using the Genesis framework and the Genesis child theme called Lifestyle Pro. This is a magazine-style, blog-style website. It's mobile-friendly and responsive. So as a quick demo of the responsiveness of this website, when I come to the bottom right-hand corner and I reduce the screen size, we can see all the different elements on the page are resizing to fit the new screen size. And here on the smartphone view of the website, we can see that the menu items have repositioned themselves in the middle. The banner image has also resized, so we can still see it really well, as we can also see the title and the description. Meanwhile, all the other elements on the page are stacked vertically, so we can see those very clearly as well. This is referred to as a responsive WordPress website. It's a website that responds to different screen sizes, making it easy to view both on desktops and laptops, as well as on mobile devices like tablets and smartphones. So with the Lifestyle Pro Genesis child theme, we're good to go in terms of mobile friendliness. So this is where we're headed. Let's get started. So before we get started, how much is this website going to cost? Well, we need several things. Number one, we need a domain name, and we also need web hosting. In this video, I'm going to be using HostGator.com, and at HostGator, you can get both the domain name as well as the web hosting. I'm also going to be using a special coupon code at HostGator.com to get an extra amount off my order. There's 2 coupons to choose from depending on which web hosting plan is preferred. So if you decide to go with HostGator.com, feel free to use these coupons as well to get an extra amount off of your order as well. If you sign up for 1 month hosting at HostGator.com, the best coupon to use is WP Coupon 25. And if you sign up for 6 months or more of web hosting at HostGator.com, the best coupon code to use is thank you. So be sure to refer to these coupons if you'd like to get an extra discount when you sign up at HostGator.com. Also, I do want to note I do receive a small referral from HostGator if you decide to use these coupons and if you go with them. So thank you in advance for your support and helping me to continue to create these free WordPress training videos. I've also noted additional web hosts and deals on my website at 77webstudio.com/deals. Once we have the domain name and the web hosting, the next thing we'll need is the Genesis framework and the child theme, both of which we can get at studiopress.com for $99.95. So this is a little bit more than many of the other premium WordPress themes out there in the online marketplaces, but keep in mind that this is a package that we're getting, which includes both the theme as well as the Genesis framework. This is a one-time purchase fee, and it also includes unlimited updates and unlimited support. Once we have the domain name, web hosting, and the framework and the theme, the next thing that we'll need to put this together is some time, and I'm estimating this should take roughly just under 3 hours. So please set aside about 3 hours or just under to go through the video, watch the tutorial, and put together the website. So in sum, the total to get started with this particular website is around $125. Again, that's using coupon codes WP Coupon 25 when you sign up for 1 month hosting at HostGator, or using coupon code Thank You when you sign up for 6+ months or more of web hosting at HostGator.com. Considering that we're going to be creating a completely customized professional WordPress website using the Genesis framework, this price of $125 to get started is a really amazing value. So what are the steps we need to take to create this WordPress website? Well, the first step is we need to get a domain and the web hosting. The second step is we need to install WordPress. And number 3, we need to build out the website. So let's take care of step number 1, getting a domain name and the web hosting by heading over to HostGator.com. Here on HostGator.com, to view the web hosting plans, go ahead and click on the button in the middle that says View Web Hosting Plans, and then you'll see there's 3 different web plans to choose from. We have the Hatchling plan, the Baby plan, and the Business plan. If you're just getting your website up and running, or if you have a small business website, then most likely the Hatchling plan or the Baby plan will be a good fit for you. The difference between these two is that with the Hatchling plan, you can host 1 single domain name, whereas with the Baby plan, you can host as many website domains as you would like. So there's definitely more of a value when you're looking at the Baby plan. So go ahead and choose the one that is best for you. I'm going to choose the Baby plan, so I'm just going to click on Order Now for the Baby plan. And then we see that the next step is we need to enter our domain. So if you already have a domain name, go ahead and click on this button here to let them know that you already have your domain name. I'm actually going to register a brand new domain, so I'm just going to enter my domain name here. So just to see if something is available, I'm going to put a random name there. And of course it is available because it's super random. Once you have your domain name added and once you can see the message here that it is available, then go ahead and scroll down, and the next step is we need to choose the package type. When you come to this section, the default package type that HostGator will display is 20% off with a 36-month cycle. So if you're just getting your WordPress website up and running, I usually prefer to just go month to month. So in that case, I would change this cycle here to be 1 month at 20% off. Now, I do have a coupon to get more off the order if you're signing up for 1 month. If you're signing up for 6 months, 12 months, 24 months, or 36 months, I have a different coupon to use that gives you more of a discount than what the standard discount is that HostGator is providing. So to see how that works out, I'm going to start with the first coupon code, which is WP Coupon 25. And when we sign up, for example, of 1 month, then when you scroll down here, you'll note that there's a coupon code here that HostGator provides, and this is the standard coupon code, which we can see here will give you a total of $65. Now, if you put in the coupon code WPCoupon25 in this instance, and then click on Validate, note that now the coupon is now $57, so that's less than the standard coupon. Now there's a lot of different add-ons that HostGator provides here, including site lock and site backup and domain privacy, and most of these I usually do not use because I have other plugins that I use to do the same things, and that way I don't have to pay an ongoing charge. So I am going to actually uncheck these two. If you'd like to sign up for these, by all means continue to keep those checked. And the other thing I just want to show you for pricing, I'm going to remove this privacy just for the moment to show you how this works out. So now when I scroll down using a 1-month web hosting plan and the coupon code WPCoupon25, the total is less than $15, which is really, really great. Now, if you are signing up for more than 1 month, if you want to sign up for a billing cycle of say 6 months, 12 months, 24 or 36 months, I'll go with say 6 months right here, then the coupon code to use is thank you. So note that now when I use coupon WPCoupon25, the total is $62 for 6 months. But when I type in the coupon code thank you and then click on validate, now the price drops to $56. So the best coupon to use if you're signing up for 6 months or more is thank you. This is an exclusive 30% off coupon that HostGator has given me generously to share with all of my viewers. So thanks so much HostGator for providing me with this exclusive coupon. Okay, once you have your order, I'm actually going to go back up here and I'm actually going to add in just 1 month. Right now, 1 month, I'm going to sign up for 1 month right here, and instead of using the coupon code thank you, I'll just go back to my other coupon, WP Coupon 25, and I will click on validate. And now we see that my order total is less than $15. Now keep in mind that one of the things I did turn off is privacy protection. I actually do recommend using the privacy protection or signing up for this, and here's why. When you do not sign up for privacy protection, then by default all of your information like your email address, and your website domain, and sometimes your phone number will be included in the public online database related to domain names. So if you prefer to keep all of that kind of personal contact info private, then the privacy protection is what you'll need to sign up for. So I do think this is a really good thing to sign up for. So in this case, I'm going to sign up for this one add-on of privacy protection. So once I've clicked on that box and signed up for that, now when I scroll down, my order total will recalculate and it's less than $25. Again, that's using coupon code WPCoupon25. And also a reminder, if you do sign up for more than 6 months of web hosting or more, then go ahead and use the coupon code thank you and you will get the best deal for between these two coupons. Okay, so once you have the coupon code that you need there, go up to the top. We also need to create a username and a security PIN and fill out our billing info. And when you have all that filled out, then come to the bottom here and click on Create an Account to create your account and sign up for web hosting. So once you click on Create Your Account, you'll get this page which will thank you for your order and will tell you to go check your email for information related to logging into your web hosting account. So I'm going to go check out my email. And here we see on my email account, here's the email from HostGator with my account info. So I'm going to click this email to open it, and I want to point out 2 things. Number 1, the first link that they'll share with you in the email is the billing system link. So if you want to check out any info related to your billing, you can go ahead and click on this link and use the password that they give you. And then right below that, you'll see that there's a link for your control panel with your username and a temporary password. So I'm going to copy this password here, the temporary password, and to log into your control panel, you'll use this link. So this is a really good email to keep in a safe place for future reference because you will be needing this information as well as the link to the control panel to log into your HostGator web hosting account. So I'm going to click on this link here, and then here is my username. You want to type in your username here that was found in the email, and then you want to add your password right here as well. Once you have that set up, you want to click on Login to log into the control panel of your web hosting account. So here we are on the HostGator control panel. The next step that we want to do is step number 2. We want to install WordPress. And thankfully with HostGator, there's a really easy way to install WordPress using their simple wizard script. So I am going to scroll down to where that is located. You want to scroll down to where it says Software and Services, and you want to find this icon that says Quick Install. So this is what we're going to use to install WordPress really easily in HostGator. We're going to use this Quick Install link, so I'm going to click on that. And once I click on that, you'll note that there's all these different kinds of software listed here on the left-hand sidebar. So right at the top, you'll note that it says blog software, and there's a link here for WordPress. This is what we want to install, so I'm going to click on that. Then we'll arrive on this page, and we can see at the time of this recording, we will be installing WordPress version 3.8. That's the most recent version of WordPress. So the next step is we need to click on this button here that says Continue, and here you'll get a panel where you can decide which domain to install WordPress to. So I'm going to add the domain name where I want to install WordPress, and then I'm going to fill out this information below, starting with the admin email. So I'm going to add my admin email right there. Next, you want to give your new website a title, so I'll just call this the name of my domain. And then also you want to add an admin username. Now note that this is an important step for website security. You want to make sure that you do not use an admin that is something like admin, support, or administration. These 3 names, admin, support, and administration, those are the first names that hackers will try when they're attempting to break into your WordPress website. So it's important that you use an admin username that is more unique than admin. So for this instance, I'm just going to add my name right here. You can also add your first name and last name. I'm going to leave that empty, and instead I'm just going to click on Install to install WordPress. Okay, congratulations, your installation is ready. So you can access the installation of your new website by clicking on this link here. And also note that here is the admin area login URL that you'll use in the future to access the login panel. To access your website in the future, you want to make a note of this link here. It's usually your domain name followed by wp-admin. So that's an important link to remember as well, so that going forward you can easily log into your WordPress website. Also make a note of your username and password. This is what you will also need, of course, to log into your website when you click on this link. So I'm just going to highlight this temporary password here and copy it. And then I'm going to click on this link here to log into my new WordPress website. So here we are on the login screen of our WordPress website. To log in, you want to enter your username in the username field and your password in the password field. And then you want to click on this button that says Remember Me, so that the next time you come to WordPress, your username and password will be remembered. In the event that you forget your password in the future, or perhaps even now, you want to click on this link here that says Lost Your Password, and WordPress will send you a password reset to the email that you used when you were creating your WordPress website. So for the moment, here I have my username and password. I'm going to go ahead and click on the Login button to log in to the WordPress website. So here we are on the dashboard. This is the first thing that you'll see when you log into your WordPress website. And when you first install WordPress, you'll also see this message that says Welcome to WordPress, with a number of links here to get started. So I'm going to be covering these links in more detail later on in the video. So right now I'm just going to dismiss this welcome message by clicking on the dismiss link right here. On the dashboard here, we can see at a glance we're running the 2014 theme. This is a theme that comes with our WordPress 3.8 installation. And at the time of this recording, WordPress 3.8 is the most recent version of WordPress. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the website, what it looks like right out of the box when we install WordPress. To check out the site, I'm going to go up to the top toolbar, hover over the website name, and click on Visit Site. Here we can see the home page of our website when we've just installed WordPress version 3.8 using the 2014 theme that comes by default with the WordPress installation. So of course we've got quite a bit of work to do because the end result that we're headed toward in this video is this website view. This is the website we'll be building in this video using the Genesis framework and the Lifestyle Pro child theme by StudioPress. So the first step we need to take to move in this direction is we need to change the theme from the 2014 theme to the Lifestyle Pro theme and the Genesis framework. To do that, I'm going to go back to the dashboard by clicking on Dashboard. Then I'm going to go down to Appearance and then click on Themes. And here on the Themes page, we can see that the active theme at the moment is the 2014 theme, and we need to add a new theme. So to add a new theme, I'm going to click on Add New. Then there's this link here that says Upload. I'm going to click on Upload. And then here we can install the Lifestyle Pro theme in .zip format by clicking on Choose File. Of course, first we need to go to StudioPress and get the theme. So I'm going to head on over to studiopress.com to find the theme. Here on studiopress.com, you can find the theme by clicking on Shop for Themes. Then here on the WordPress themes page, we can check out all the amazing Genesis child themes. Of course, the theme that we want right now is the Lifestyle Pro theme, which is a magazine blog style theme. So I'm going to click on all categories, then click on magazine style to do a filtered search for this particular theme. Here on the right-hand side, we see the Lifestyle Pro theme, which when I hover on top of it, there's a button, See Details and Pricing, which when I click on this, it will bring me to the Lifestyle Pro theme page where we can read all about this great theme. On the right-hand side, we see that we can get this theme with the Genesis framework for just under $100, which I want to make a quick note. This is a little bit more than many of the other themes out there in the online WordPress theme marketplaces, but this is actually a really great value because it includes not just the theme, but also the Genesis framework, as well as unlimited updates and support, and it's a one-time purchase fee. So the unlimited updates is really an extra value that comes when you buy the theme and the Genesis framework. Not all developers will give you updates down the road a year or so or more when the theme is updated, and that's a really important thing to keep your theme updated, of course, for so many reasons, including WordPress security. The other thing is that this also is a one-time purchase fee, which means that when you purchase this theme with the Genesis framework, if down the line you want to change a theme to some other Genesis child theme, you will not need to buy the Genesis framework, you will just need to buy the theme, which is really great. So as a quick example, a few years ago I bought the Genesis framework and another theme, the Mocha theme, for a different website project. So this time when I wanted to create a website with the Lifestyle Pro theme, I did not need to repurchase the Genesis framework, I only needed to buy the brand new theme, which was really great. So that is the scoop on the theme and the Genesis framework. If you do not yet own or have not yet purchased the Genesis framework, then you'll want to click on Buy Theme and Framework. And if you already have purchased the Genesis framework at some point in the past, you can scroll down to the bottom, click on Yes, you are a returning customer to log in for special pricing and options on just the Lifestyle Pro theme. So I am a returning customer. I've already bought this, so I'm going to log in and I'll see you on the other side on the dashboard of my StudioPress account where we can download the Lifestyle Pro theme. So here we are inside my StudioPress account. To download the Lifestyle Pro Genesis child theme along with the Genesis framework, I'm going to click on Downloads to go to the Downloads page. Then here on the Downloads page, I'm going to scroll down to the Genesis framework as well as to the Lifestyle Pro child theme. The first one up is the Genesis framework right here. So on the right-hand side, there's this blue button. I'm going to click on that to download the Genesis framework. And once the Genesis framework has been downloaded, then I'm going to scroll down to the Lifestyle Pro theme right here and do the same thing. Click on the blue button here to download the Lifestyle Pro Genesis child theme. Once both the Genesis framework has been downloaded along with the Lifestyle Pro child theme, I'm going to go back to my WordPress website by clicking on my site here, and we're back on the Install Themes page where we can install both the theme and the framework in .zip format. So when I downloaded these two files, they were both already in .zip format, so I can just install them directly by clicking on Choose File. And here we see both the Genesis zip file as well as the Lifestyle Pro zip file. So the first one I'm going to install is Genesis, so I'm going to highlight that and click on Open. Then once I see that right here, I'm going to click on Install Now to install the Genesis framework. Once Genesis has been successfully installed, I'm going to click on Activate to activate Genesis. Okay, so now we see Genesis is active. The next step is we need to install the Genesis child theme called Executive Pro. So once again, I'm going to click on Add New to add the new theme. Then I'm going to click on Upload and then choose Files. And then I'm going to select this time the Lifestyle Pro theme and click on Open. Next, once I see it right here in the window, I'm going to click on Install Now to install the Genesis child theme called Lifestyle Pro. Once the Lifestyle Pro child theme has been installed successfully, I'm going to click on Activate to activate this theme. And now we can see here that the Lifestyle Pro Genesis child theme is now active. Once the Lifestyle Pro Genesis child theme has been activated, the next step is we need to add some plugins to our WordPress website. So on the left-hand side, I'm going to go down to Plugins, hover over Plugins, and click on Add New. Here on the Install Plugin screen, I'm going to do a search for the Genesis eNews Extended plugin. So I'm just going to add that in the search field and click on Search Plugins. Then we'll see here it is at the top, the Genesis eNews Extended plugin. So I'm going to click on Install Now to install this plugin. Are you sure you want to install this? Yes, okay. And once the plugin has been successfully installed, I'm going to click on Activate Plugin to activate the plugin. The next plugin that we need to add is the Simple Social Icons plugin. So again, going to Add New under Plugins, I'm going to add a new plugin. Then I'm going to do a search for the Simple Social Icons and click on Search Plugins. And here we see at the top the Simple Social Icons. Again, I'm going to click on Install Now. Are you sure you want to install this? Yes, okay. And then once this has been successfully installed, I'm going to click on Activate Plugin to activate the plugin. The other plugin that I want to add, one more at this time, we'll add some more later down the road in this video, but the other one I want to add right now is the Contact Form plugin. So I'm going to click on Add New. Then I'm going to do a search for the Contact Form 7 plugin and click on Search. Here it is at the top, Contact Form 7. So I'm going to click on Install Now. Yes. Are you sure you want to install this? Yes. Okay. And once it has been successfully installed, I'm going to click on Activate Plugin to activate the plugin. Once the plugins have been installed and activated, the next step is let's take a quick look at the home page to see what the website looks like so far. So going up to the toolbar, I'm going to hover over the website name and click on Visit Site. And here we can see the foundation for our website using the Lifestyle Pro Genesis Child theme. By default, when you install this theme, you'll have this fabric canvas background right here. The header section has this emerald green color. There's a sample post on the left-hand side. Then we see the primary sidebar widget area and the footer section down below with the credits. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the Genesis theme options. So going back to the dashboard, I'm going to click on Dashboard. Then I'm going to hover over Genesis and click on Theme Settings. And here we can configure all the different settings for this particular Lifestyle Pro Genesis Child theme. Starting at the top, if you'd like to receive updates via email, you can click on Notify and add your email here. These are updates related to the theme, or you can just click on this one, Enable Automatic Updates. I'm going to leave it set at Enable Automatic Updates. Next, we have the color style. This is an important one. So we can see right now it's set to the default color, which is that emerald green color. But when I click on this, there's lots of other colors to choose: blue, green, mustard, purple, and red. So choose whichever one best suits your particular website. I'm going to leave this set as the default of the emerald green. Next, scrolling down, we have the custom feed section. If you'd like to set up feeds, you can do so here. I'm not going to add any custom feeds. I just want to point out where that is if you'd like to set that up. Here in default layout, there's lots of different layouts. We have a right-hand sidebar layout, left-hand sidebar, two right-hand sidebars, two left-hand sidebars. There's a left-hand sidebar and a right-hand sidebar. And finally, there's a full width page. So whatever you want the default layout to be for your website, you can configure that in this panel right here where it says default layout. I'm going to leave it set with the right-hand sidebar. Next, we have navigation. I'll be covering this shortly, a little bit later in the video when we talk about the menu, so I'm not going to touch this right now. Next, if you'd like to add breadcrumbs, as it notes, breadcrumbs are a great way of letting your visitors find out where they are on your site with just a glance. So if you'd like to enable breadcrumbs on the home page, post pages, or other pages, you can set that up here. Next, we have comments and trackbacks. By default, I'm going to enable comments as well as trackbacks. As it notes here, comments and trackbacks can also be disabled on a per post or per page basis when we are editing posts and pages. And I will go over that a little bit later when we're covering posts and pages. Right now, for the moment, I'm going to leave these two checked to enable comments and trackbacks. Next, we have the content archives, which refers to the blog archive page. So there's two choices here in terms of content to be displayed. You can either display the post content or the post excerpts. I am going to follow along with the theme instructions, and I'm going to display the post content. I'm also going to limit the content to 0 characters, or you can just leave that blank altogether. I am not going to include a featured image, and I'm going to select the post navigation technique of numeric. We can see you can also use previous or next. I'm going to leave it as numeric. Then I'm going to scroll down for blog page template. If you want to exclude certain blog page categories, you can do so here. I'm not going to limit anything. I'm going to display all of the posts that I publish. And then down below we have the header and footer scripts, which we'll come back to this a little bit later in the video. Right now, with all the settings that we've saved up above, I'm going to click on Save Settings to save my settings. Next, let's take a look at the title of the website as well as the tagline. To check that out, I'm going to go to Settings, hover over Settings, and click on General. And here we can see the site title as well as the tagline. So when you install WordPress, the default tagline across all WordPress websites is just another WordPress website, which is never a good tagline, no matter what kind of website you have. So at minimum, it's a good idea to at least delete this altogether. In this case, though, for my website that I'm building in this video, I'm going to add in a special tagline since my website is about green juices, pressed juices, and wellness. So I'll just add that tagline there. Then I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to click on Save Changes to save my changes. Once the settings have been saved, now we can check out the site by going up to the toolbar, hovering over the website name, and clicking on Visit Site. And here we are on our home page. So we see at the top we have the title and the tagline. We still need to add the menu items and fill out all the content on the website, as well as change some styling elements on the site to give it a different look. So let's start by adding some posts to our WordPress website. To create a new post, you can go up to the top, hover over plus new, and click on Post, or you can click on Dashboard right there, and then on the left-hand side, you can hover over Post on the left-hand sidebar and then click on Add New. So I'm going to click on Add New right here to create a new blog post. The first thing we want to do here in the new post page is we want to give our new post a title. So I'm going to add a title in right here. Then in this white box, you can add the content, whether a video, an image, or some text. I'm going to add some text content in this white box here by just pasting in some demo text. And we can see here that I'm in the visual view, and then there's a text view. So if I want to format some of this content here, just like an email, I would highlight it, and then I would use whatever formatting icons here that I'd like. So if I want to bold this, I'd highlight these two words and click on the B to bold these two words. Now note that behind the scenes, WordPress is generating the HTML code, so this is also a great way to start learning HTML. So when I click on the text view, for example, we can see the behind the scenes code that WordPress has generated to create the bold feature right here on these two words. So we see here we have the HTML code for the opening bracket, which is the opening tag of the bold tag, which is strong. Then we see the closing HTML tag right here for the closing bold tag right there. So as you go through your text and you create different formatting of this, you can just refer back and forth to the text tab to check out what kind of HTML WordPress is creating behind the scenes. The other good news with WordPress is that you don't need to memorize all these different formatting icons. If you hover over them one at a time, a little tooltip will pop up telling you exactly what each one of these different icons does. So if you want to insert a link, for example, we see that I'm on the insert link icon right here, and I could just create my link, highlight it, and then I can click on this button right here to edit or insert a new link. Then here at the top, you would just add your link, whatever it is. You can give it a title. You can choose whether you want the link to open in a new tab or not in a new tab, just within the website. Whenever I'm going to an external website, I always click on Open Link in a new window or tab. Then you can just come down here and click on Add Link to create your link. Okay, so then the next step is here on the right-hand side, we need to create a category. So I'm just going to click on Add New Category here, and I'll call this Press Juice. Next, once you've added the new category, then you can come down here and click on the button Add New Category. Okay, once the category has been set, the next step is the tags. So you can just call this whatever tags you want. This is a kale. Let's see what this is about: kale, cucumber, parsley. So I guess I'll just highlight these words right here. I want each of these to be their own tag. So I'll just add them all in right there. And note that you want to separate your tags with commas. So I just put a little comma there. Then I'm going to click on Add to add the new tags. The other thing I want to do is I want to add an image to my post. So I'm just going to place the cursor where I want the image to be displayed. Then I'm going to come up to the top here, hover over Add Media, and click on Add Media. From here, we can either choose media from our media library or we can upload a new file. Since I haven't added any images yet to the website, I'm going to upload a file from my computer by clicking on Select Files. Then I need to find the file, so I'm going to click on Images. Next, I'm going to choose the image right here, this cucumber image right there, and then I'm going to click on Open to open this image and upload it to WordPress. Once the image has been uploaded, you'll see the attachment details on the right-hand side, and then you can add a title, caption, alternative text, or a description. It's always a good idea whenever you're adding images to your WordPress website to give, at minimum, add a title and an alternative text. This way, anyone who's using text-to-speech software or perhaps cannot see the image on their browser for some reason, they'll at least know via the alternative text what this image is about. Then I'm going to scroll down. You can choose where you want to align this, either no alignment, left, center, or right. I'll choose center. Then if you'd like to link this image to something, you can link it to the media file, attachment page, a custom URL, or none. I don't want to link this to anything, so I'll just click on none. And finally, we have some sizes that we can choose right here: a thumbnail size, medium size, or the full width size. I'm going to choose full width, full size of 590 pixels by 590 pixels tall. Finally, you want to click on Insert into Post to insert your image into the post. We can also add a featured image here if you'd like. I'm going to set a featured image by clicking on Set Featured Image. I'm going to choose the same image right there, and then I'm going to click on this button to set the featured image. Okay, scrolling down, we see on the left-hand side we can add some theme SEO settings. If you are using an SEO plugin like WordPress SEO by Yoast, then by default these settings will not be functioning, which is always a good thing because they defer to the plugin. If you're not using an SEO plugin though, this is a great way to set up your SEO settings right from within the theme. So I'm going to leave these unfilled in for the moment, but this is a really important thing to check out when you're creating your posts or pages. Finally, we can choose the layout settings. Once again, I'm going to keep it with the default, which is a right sidebar, but if you want to create unique pages and posts on your website, you can do so right here by choosing a unique layout. Okay, so once you're all ready to go, then come up to the top here and click on Publish to publish your new blog post. Once the post has been published, we can view the post by clicking on View Post, or we can continue and create another post. I'm going to continue and create another post, this time with a different category. Once again, there's 3 different ways to create a new post. We can click on Add New here at the top, or in the toolbar, we can hover over plus new and click on Post, or on the left-hand sidebar, we can go to Post and click on Add New. So there's lots of different ways in WordPress to do the same exact thing. So I'm going to click on this one, Add New, to create a new blog post. Once again, the first thing we need to do is give our new post a title. So I'm going to pop in a title right here. Next, here in the white box, we're in the visual view right now, we can add some text, an image, or a video. I'm going to start by adding some text, so I'm just going to paste in some text right here. Then I'm going to add an image, so I'm going to place the cursor where I want the image to be displayed. I'm going to click on Add Media at the top. Then I'm going to click on Upload Files and Select Files to select a file from my computer. Next, I'm going to choose the image. Here it is right here, this chocolate smoothie image. And then I'm going to click on Open to open the image. Once the image has been uploaded, the next step is to give the image a title and an alternative text. So I'm going to add one in right here. And then we can check out the attachment display settings. So scrolling down, I want this to be left aligned, so I'll keep it as center align, so I'll keep it as center. I do not want to link this image to anything, so I'm going to change this to none. You can choose any of these options right here. And then I'm going to choose the full size, which is 640 pixels wide and 640 pixels tall. So, okay, once everything looks good, then go ahead and click on Insert into Post to insert the image into the post. Next, on the right-hand side, we can choose a category. I'm going to create a new category this time, so I'm going to click on this button, Add New Category. And this time, the category I'm going to add is just, we'll say, smoothies. I'm going to have a variety of different categories here. So I'll add the category called smoothies, and then I'm going to scroll down. You can give this some tags if you'd like. So I'll just give it a few tags. Once again, you want to make sure that the tags are separated with a comma. Once you have your tags, go ahead and click on Add to add the new tags, and then here we see once again the theme SEO settings. If you're not using a WordPress SEO by Yoast SEO plugin or some other SEO plugin, then this is an important part to fill out for SEO. And let's see, scrolling down, I'm going to keep the default layout right here consistent throughout the website. Of course, there's lots of different options if you want to change that. And then I'm just going to scroll to the top and I'm going to click on Publish to publish my new post. Oh, one more thing. I noticed that I had added the category right here, but I actually didn't officially add it. So once you add the word in here for the new category, then you need to make sure that you click on this button here to actually add the new category. Now we see that the category is checked, so we're good to go. So with that, I'm going to publish this by clicking on the Publish button here. And now we have our second blog post published, which is great. So let's take a look at some of the pages. We have not yet created any pages yet. We have a couple blog posts. To create a page is very similar to creating a post. Once again, we can go up to the top, hover over plus new and click on page, or on the left-hand side, we can hover over pages here and click on add new. The difference between posts and pages: posts are used for any kind of content that changes on a daily basis, news or events or just fresh content. Pages are your static content. So pages would be things that don't change. There's no published author associated with it. There's no date associated with it. And it's a static page. So things like your contact page, your about page, maybe a photo gallery page, those would be great topics for your pages, and then anything that's fresh content would be perfect for a post. So I get that question a lot, what's the difference between a post and a page? So I just want to point that out. So let's go ahead and create some pages, starting with the About page. Most likely you're going to want to have an About page about your website or about you on your website. So once we create some pages, then we'll be able to add them to the menu navigation on the home page. Okay, so to create a new page, I'm just going to come up to the top here, hover over the plus new, and then click on page. Then the first thing that we want to do is give our new page a title, so I'll just call this About, since this is the About page. Then here in the white box, I'm going to add some content. I'll just add some text here. And I also want to add an image. So once again, as we did in the previous example with the blog post, it's the same thing with the pages. I'm going to place the cursor where I want the image to be displayed, click on Add Media, then click on Upload Files and select Files. I'm going to select my file right here and click on Open. Once the image has been uploaded, I'm going to give the image a title and an alternative text. Once you've added the title and alternative text, you can scroll down and check out the attachment display settings. This time I want the alignment to be right aligned, so I'm going to click on right. I want to link this to nothing, so I'm going to click on none, and I do want the full size here, not the thumbnail size. So I'm going to click on full size and then click on Insert into Page. Once the image has been added to the page, the next step are the page attributes here on the right-hand side. If you'd like to set up a parent page, you can do so. The About page is going to be the top level page in this case, so I'm not going to have a parent page, but just want to point that out. This is where you would do that if you'd like to create parent pages. Then the template I'm going to use is the default template. You can see when I click on that, there's lots of other options, but the one I'm going to use is the default template. Then scrolling down, we have the theme SEO settings for this particular page. So this is a good idea to fill this out if you're not using another SEO plugin. Then coming down to the bottom, we can choose our layout settings. Now this is a page and it's specifically about the About page, so I do not want to have a sidebar here on the right hand side. For this particular page, I want it to be a full width page, so I'm going to click on this layout style right here. Then scrolling down, everything else looks good. I'm going to come up to the top and click on Publish to publish the About page. Okay, so once a page has been published, we can check it out by clicking on View Page. I'm going to hold off on that just in the essence of time right now, and I'm going to go forward and I'm going to create the blog archive page. So to create a blog archive page, I'm going to come up to the top, hover over plus new, and click on Page. Then here for the title, I'm going to give this page a title of blog since this is the blog archive page. I'm not going to add any content here because this page is actually going to pull all the blog posts and display them all on one single blog archive page. So I'm going to leave this all blank. On the right hand side though, where it says page attributes, the template that we need for the blog page is blog. So I'm going to click on blog here to set the blog template. Then scrolling down, everything else looks good. We're using the default layout, which is the right hand sidebar, which is perfect. And then I think we're good to go. So I'm going to click on Publish to publish the blog archive page. Once a blog page has been published, we can check out the blog page by clicking on View Page. I'm going to continue though, once again in the essence of time, and I'm just going to move forward and create a contact page. So to create a contact page, this is a page where anyone can easily contact you from within your website. To create a contact page, I'm going to go up to the top, hover over plus new, and click on Page. Next, as we did previously in the other examples, I'm going to give this page a title. I'm going to call this Contact since this is the contact page. And then I'm going to save the draft by clicking on Save Draft. Now note that earlier in the video we had added a plugin called Contact Form 7 to our WordPress website, so that is going to serve us now. So to check out the code we need for the contact form, I'm going to go back to my plugins page right here by clicking on Plugins. And here we can see the Contact Form 7 plugin, which we added earlier in this video. If you haven't yet added this, then you're going to want to do a search to add a new plugin by clicking on Add New, and then you want to search for the Contact Form 7 plugin and install that and activate this plugin. Once you have that here in your plugins list right here, to find the code, we want to click on Settings. Then here we see the default contact form that comes when we install this plugin, so I'm going to click on Edit. Here you can check out the fields that will be included in the contact form, mostly a name, the email address, a subject title, the message, and a send button. These are the standard fields in any kind of contact form. So the code we need is right here above, so I'm just going to copy all of this, highlight it and copy it. Then going back to my page, I'm going to click on Pages here. Then here we see we have the draft of the contact page. I'm going to click on Edit to continue working on this page. Then here in the Text tab, we have the Visual tab and the Text tab. I'm going to click on Text. And in this text view, I'm going to paste the code that I just copied in the previous step. Once you have this Contact Form 7 shortcode here in the text view, then we can scroll down. Everything else looks good. I'm going to have a default once again with the right-hand sidebar. And then I'm going to click on Save Draft one more time because I want to point out one special thing about the contact form. When you come up to the right-hand side here and you click on Screen Options, then when you click on Discussion, note that you'll get another field down below related to comments and trackbacks. So on my contact form, this is a page, it's not a blog post, so I prefer not to have any kind of comments or trackbacks on my pages, especially on my contact form. So I'm going to uncheck this to turn off comments and trackbacks on this contact form page. Once these are unchecked, then I'm going to come up to the top and click on Publish to publish my new contact form page. Okay, so once a page has been published, now let's check out what the site looks like so far. We've been doing a lot of work, adding a lot of content to the website. Let's see what the home page looks like now. So going up to the top left-hand side of the toolbar, I'm going to hover over the website name and click on Visit Site. And here we can see the beginnings of our website. So it's looking good so far. We've got lots more to do. Starting with, let's add the menu navigation items here with those various pages that we just created. So to create a menu navigation area, I'm going to go back to the dashboard by clicking on Dashboard. Then I'm going to scroll down to Appearance and click on Menus. And here on the Menus page, we can start by creating a new menu. So I'm just going to call this Menu. And then I'm going to click on this button to create the menu. And once the menu has been created, now we can add pages to our menu. So I'm going to add the contact page, the blog page, and the home page. Check all these three. The sample page is a default page that comes with your WordPress installation, and I will be deleting this page a little bit later on. We don't need that. Okay, once you have the pages that you want to add to the menu, click on Add to Menu to add these to the menu. Then to reorder them, all we need to do is drag them and drop them where we want them to be displayed. So I'm going to have the About page first, followed by the blog page, and then the contact page. Next, I'm going to click on Save Menu to save my menu. Once the menu has been saved, notice that we're missing the Home button. That's always a good navigation item to include is the Home link right there. So I'm going to create that by going down to Links, clicking on this box to open it up, and then I'm going to add my URL right here for my actual website. And I'm going to give this a link text of Home. Then I'm going to add it to the menu by clicking on Add to Menu. Once again, I'm going to drag it to the top right here so that it shows up first in the list, and then I'm going to click on Save Menu to save my menu. Once the menu items have been saved, we can see at the top we have the Manage Locations tab. So we have one more step to make this display throughout our website. So I'm going to click on Manage Locations, and here we can see there's two different menus that come with the Lifestyle Pro Genesis Child theme. We have a primary navigation menu and a secondary navigation menu. The primary menu is going to be displayed above the banner, and the secondary one will be displayed below the banner. So for this particular menu that I just created, I want this one to be displayed below the banner. So for the secondary menu navigation, I'm going to set that right there by adding the menu we just created to the secondary navigation menu. Then I'm going to click on Save Changes. We'll come back a little bit later in the video to the primary navigation menu area. Once the menu location has been set, now to check out the website, I'm going to go up to the top toolbar, hover over the website name, and click on Visit Site. Okay, so we can see here we have our menu items being displayed. That looks great. We have our About page, blog page, and contact page. And when I click on each of these, we can see here we have our About page, our blog page. This is the blog archive page, which will display all of our blog posts. And then we have our contact form where anyone can easily contact us from within our website. So looking over the home page of our website so far, we see we have the banner section, the menu navigation area, we have a primary sidebar widget area that we need to set up, and then the main thing I want to point out here is that we have all of our blog posts displayed one after the other vertically down the page. Now for some, this may be exactly the display that you want on your home page with all of the full blog posts displayed on the home page. Of course, with the Lifestyle Pro Genesis Child theme, there's another display option for the home page. And when I jump over to the completed website, here we can see how that layout will be set up. So we have the first blog featured post. So there's one featured blog post right here. Then we have the first category section. Then we have the second category section and the third category section right here. So for this video, I'm going to set up all of these different categories on the home page. Now keep in mind that so far we've only created two categories. We've created a pressed juice category and a smoothie category. So I need to create one more category in order to make this work. So I'm going to go back to my website over here. I'm going to create one more blog post so that I can also create a new category, because when we go to the dashboard, for example, I'm going to click on dashboard. Then when we go to post by clicking on post, then here when we see categories, these are our categories so far, and I only have two categories created so far. So I need at least one more category to make the home page sections work. So I'm going to go back up to my toolbar here, hover over plus new, and create another blog post with my third category. Here on my new blog post, I'm going to give my new post a title, so I'll just post in a title right there. I'm going to go a little bit faster since we've already gone over this in the previous examples. Next, here in the white content box, I'm going to paste in some content. So there I have my text content right there, and I'm also going to add an image. So I'm just going to place the cursor where I want the image to be displayed, click on Add Media, then click on Upload Files and select Files. Then I'm going to choose my file, this one right here, and click on Open. Once the image has been uploaded, then I'm going to give it a title and an alternative text. Then I'm going to scroll down, choose the alignment. I'm going to have this just displayed in the center. Then I want to link this to nothing, so I'll click on None, and I want the full size, which is 640 by 640 pixels. So 640 pixels wide and 640 pixels tall. Okay, once you have everything the way you'd like to have it set, go ahead and click on Insert into Post to insert the image into the post. Now note that we don't see the image here because we're in the text view. Now we can see the HTML code that WordPress is generating behind the scenes to create this image right here. So there's the code. When I click on the Visual tab, here we can see the actual image. Okay, great. So moving over to the categories, this is where I want to add a new category. So I'm going to click on Add New Category. I'll call this green juice. Then I'll click on Add New Category, this button right here. Then I'm going to scroll down. You can add some tags if you'd like, making sure that you separate the tags with a comma and then click on the Add button. Next, I'm going to scroll down. Everything looks good. We have my default layout set. Then I'm going to come up to the top and click on Publish to publish my new post with my new category. So now that we have all the categories set up for our website, I've got 3 categories here, the green juices, pressed juices, and smoothies. So I have the 3 categories that I want to have displayed on the home page. The only catch is that I only have 3 blog posts. So behind the scenes, to save time, I'm going to create a number of additional blog posts and I'm going to add them to each of these 3 different categories. So I'll see you on the other side once I've created all those blog posts so that we can set up the home page with the featured categories. Here on my All Posts page, we can see all the different blog posts that I've added to my WordPress website, as well as the categories and the tags. When I go to the website homepage by going up to the top toolbar, hovering over the website name and clicking on Visit Site, here we can see the homepage with all the different blog posts displayed one by one vertically after the other. Now, this is the default view of the Lifestyle Pro Genesis Child theme if you don't make any configuration settings to the homepage. You'll just have a blog post just like that. Of course, I want to add those featured post and featured blog categories to my home page. So to do that, I'm going to go back up to the dashboard, click on Dashboard. Next, I'm going to go down to Appearance, hover over Appearance, and click on Widgets. Here on the widgets section, we see all these different widgets that are available with our theme, and the main ones that we want right now are the ones related to home. Home top, home middle, home bottom left, and home bottom right. These are the widgets that we need to set up in order to display the featured content on the home page. So starting with home top, I'm going to click on this button here to open up this box. Then I'm going to choose Genesis Featured Post to display the featured post on my home page. I'm just going to drag that over and drop it in the home top section. I'm not going to give this a title. Of course, if you'd like to give it a title, by all means, go ahead and add your title here. I'm going to select the category though, so when I click on this, I want to choose Pressed Juice. So that is a category of the featured post I want to display. I want to display 1 post, so I'll just leave it as 1. You can of course change that if you want to display more than 1 post. Then I'm going to order it by the date. That looks good. Everything else in this box looks good. Moving over to the right-hand side, I want to display the post title, so I'm going to click on that box. I'm not going to display the post info, leave that unchecked. Then here where it says content type, when I click on this, there's a number of different options here. I'm going to choose show content limit, and the limit that I want is about 250 characters, so I'll just add that right there. And then for the more text, I'll just add read more. So without the brackets. So just read more. Next, I'm going to scroll down. I'm not going to add an author gravatar here. And then the next part here, show featured image. I do want to do that. So I'm going to click on this. The image size though, I don't want a thumbnail, that's way too small, so I'll choose the home large size right here. There's also a home small size if you like, but because this is the featured post, I want a really large image, so I'll choose the home large. Next, for image alignment, I'll just have it be left aligned right there. And then these boxes over here, I'm not going to fill out, I'll just leave the default settings. Finally, I'm going to click on Save to save my settings. Of course, feel free to go through all of these different settings and set these up according to however you want to have it displayed. These are the settings that I'd like to have for my own demo right now in the video. Okay, so once you have all the settings that you'd like to set here in the featured post section for the home top widget, I'm just going to close this by clicking on this button. Then I'm going to do the same thing for these 3 widgets right here. Starting with the home middle widget, I'm going to click on this button to open it. I'm going to pull over the Genesis featured post widget. Then for this particular one, I do want to give this a title, so I'm just going to add a title there. The category that I want, once again, is Pressed Juice. I want to show 3 post. I'll just put the number 3 in there. And then here where it says exclude previously displayed posts, I do want to exclude the previous post, which is the one that was featured just up above in the home top section. So I'm just going to click on exclude previously displayed post. I do want to order it by date, so that looks good, and this whole box is set up the way that I like. Moving over to the right hand box right here, as we did in the previous example, I'm going to show the post title by clicking on show post title. I'm going to click on show content limit once again, and this time I'll just use 250 characters as we did previously, and I'll include a read more text right there. Then scrolling down, I do want to show the featured image, so I'm going to click on this box, although this time instead of having the large image with 634 pixels, I'm going to choose the home smaller image, so I'll just click on home small, and then I'm going to align this once again to the left. So once you have all of the settings set up as you like them here for the middle home widget, go ahead and click on save to save the settings. Then I'm going to close this. Moving on to the next one, I'm going to open up the bottom left widget. Do the same thing. I'm going to pull over the featured post widget, drop that in. Then here in the title field, I'm going to give my new featured category section a title. So I'll just add in a title there. This time the category that I want is green juices. So I'll select green juices right here. The number of posts to show, I'm going to display 2 posts. I'll just put in the number 2. Scroll down. I want to order this by date, so that looks good. And I do want to exclude previously displayed posts. Of course, we haven't really added this particular category yet to the home page, so it really won't apply at the moment, but later down the road, if I decide to change the featured post in the top area or throughout the site, then this way it will make sure to exclude previously displayed post. On the right hand side, I do want to include the post title, so I'll click on that. And just to show how this will display with the author and the date, I'm going to click on this button right here to show the post info. For content type, once again, I'll click on show the content limit, and I'll limit it to, say, 80 characters. Next, where it says more text, to keep it consistent, I'll just add in read more right there. Then scrolling down here where it says show featured image, I'm going to click on that, and this time I'm going to use not the thumbnail or the home large, but once again the home small featured image, which is 266 pixels wide. So I'll just click in that right there. The image alignment I want is left alignment, so I'll just add in left alignment, and then I'm good to go. So I'll click on save to save these settings. Once the settings have been saved, then I'm just going to come up to the top once again and close the box to collapse this box. Finally, the last one we have here is the home bottom right widget. So I'm going to open that up, and just as we did previously, I'm going to drag the Genesis featured post widget over. Give this new widget area a title, so I'm going to add a title in there. The category that I want is smoothies this time, and just like the post here in the bottom left section, to keep it consistent in this area, I'm going to add 2 posts, and then I'm going to click on exclude previously displayed post, click on show post title, show post info. I'm going a little faster because we've already just done this. Content type, I'm going to choose show content limits. I'll make this once again 80 characters, and I will use the read more text right here. Finally, scrolling to the bottom, I'm going to click on show featured image, and the image size that I want is the home small size of 266 pixels wide. The image alignment is left, so we're all good to go. So then finally, I'm going to click on save to save the settings. So just as a quick double check to make sure that this lines up correctly, the limit here that I've set for the bottom right widget is 80 characters, and the bottom left one here should also be 80 characters, which it is. Great. So let's take a quick look at the home page to see what all the different categories look like now on the home page. Going up to the top, I'm going to hover over the website name and click on Visit Site. And here we see our featured post right here with the title and some content with a read more link to read more. Then we have the beginning of category number 1, the featured category, healthy pressed juice, with the thumbnail, the title, the content excerpt, the read more button. Then we've got 3 of those, and then we have these 2 right here. Now note that this isn't really lining up very well because this word, energizing green juice, there's too many characters, and so it takes up 2 rows instead of 1. I want to keep this consistent, so really quickly I'm going to go back and I'm going to fix that, and I'm just going to call it green juice. So going back to the dashboard, actually I can go directly to the widgets. If I hover over the website name, there's this widgets link here that will bring me directly to the widgets page. So I will click on that to save time. Then going back to the bottom left widget right here, I'm going to open that up, and then I'm going to change it and take out this adjective here. So it just says green juice. Now when I scroll down and click on save and go back to my website by clicking on visit site, now we can see that everything looks really good. That looks so much better because it's all in alignment. Okay, great. So the next step is, now that we have some parts of the home page set up, let's continue by setting up the sidebar widget area. So as a quick preview of the content we're going to be adding to the primary sidebar widget area, I'm going to jump over to my completed website over here. We can see we're going to be adding an email opt-in form using the Genesis eNews Extended plugin. Then we'll be adding an author bio section with a thumbnail image, a search box, an image that has a call to action and a link to an internal page within the website. Then we'll be adding some social media icons here so anyone can connect with you easily on the social web. And finally, we'll be adding some images from Pinterest. So these are the content types that we're going to be adding in this video. The great news about the primary sidebar and all sidebars and footers in WordPress is that this is where you can add completely customizable content. So if you want to add something else and not include this, by all means you can do that, and I'll show you where you can do that in this video right now. So going back to our widget area, I'm going to go back to the website, then I'm going to go directly to the widgets by clicking on widgets right here. And here we can see on the right hand side we have a primary sidebar and a secondary sidebar. When I open this primary sidebar here, it notes this is the primary sidebar if you are using a 2 or 3 column site layout option. So the Lifestyle Pro Genesis Child theme has the option of adding 3 columns if we'd like, which is really great. In this video, I'm only going to be using the primary sidebar, but everything we do with the primary sidebar you can set up similarly in the secondary sidebar. So the first thing that I want to add here is the Genesis eNews Extended plugin, which is right down here. Earlier in the video, we had installed and activated this plugin, so I'm just going to drag this up into the primary sidebar. Then here, I'm going to give this a title, so I'll just add my title in here. And I'm not going to go over in this video how to set this up because I have another video which goes over this step-by-step from scratch, guiding you how to set up this entire email opt-in form. So I'm going to refer you to my other video. It's called Genesis eNews Extended, how to add MailChimp emails to your Genesis WordPress website. So I'll be sure to drop a link to this video in this video right here so you can go through the process of setting up your email opt-in form using the Genesis eNews Extended plugin. Once you've set up the email opt-in form using the Genesis eNews Extended plugin following the YouTube video on my channel, the next step is to add another widget. So I'm going to close this box by clicking on this button right here. Then the next widget that I'm going to add is this user profile. So I'm going to drag the Genesis user profile widget just under the email opt-in form. Here within the user profile widget, we can configure these settings, including a title if you'd like. I'm not going to add a title, I'll just leave it blank. Then you want to select the user, I'll leave it with my name right there. Next we have Gravatar size. I'm going to choose the extra large 125 pixel size. Left alignment sounds good. Next you can choose what kind of description you want, either an author bio or custom text. I'm going to choose custom text and then just add some custom text in there. Next, scrolling down, choose your About Me page from the list below. So I'm going to click on the About page right here. And then finally, you can decide what kind of text you want this link to go to. So I'll just click on Learn More. I'll type in Learn More. And this will be the text that will link to the About page. So the next step is I'm going to click on Save to save my settings. Once you have all the settings set for this user profile widget, then we can close it by clicking on this caret right here. And the next widget that I want to add is a search box. It's always a good idea to have a search box on your website so anyone can easily find content on your site. So scrolling down, here's a search widget right here. I'm just going to drag this to the top, and I'm going to place it right underneath the user profile. Then the title will be looking for something. You can add any title that you like. Then I'm going to click on Save to save this setting. Next, I'm going to add the simple social icons. These are the icons to all of your different social networks across the web. In the earlier part of this video, we had added the simple social icons plugin to our site. So if you don't have this here, you want to make sure that you go to the plugins page and install and activate the simple social icons widget. So I'm going to go and bring this to the top here just underneath the search box, and then we can add all of the different social networks that we want to show up as an icon. So starting at the top here where it says title, I'll just say connect on the web. Next, if you want to open links in a new window, you can check this box. I'll go ahead and do that. That's a good idea. It's always a good idea to open links in a new window when you're sending someone away from your website. That way your website is always still open on another page. Okay, so the icon size 36 pixels. I'll leave the default here. I'll leave all of these defaults. But for the colors right now this will be customized for the website that I'm creating. Of course, you'll have your own colors. But for the background color, I'm going to change it from the default of a gray color to this kind of red color right here. So I'll just, the background color and the background hover color, I'll add this new color code here. This is a shade of red. I'll be sure to include this code in the video in case you can't read it. Next, you just want to add all the different URLs for the social networks that you want to be displayed as icons. Okay, once you've added all the different URLs for your different social network profiles, then go ahead and click on Save to save your settings. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the home page to see how our sidebar is looking so far. So going up to my site, I'm going to hover over the website name and click on Visit Site. And here we see on the right-hand side, we have our email opt-in form, our user profile right here, our search box, and our social network icons. So the two particular ones that we're missing so far, jumping over to our completed website, are the image here, an image with a call to action and a link to an internal page, and then the Pinterest images down below. So let's start by adding the image to our website so that we can add this widget as well to the sidebar. So going back to our site, I'm going to go back to our site, and then here I'm going to go directly to widgets. Then here on our widgets page, we need to add a placeholder for the image. So here in primary sidebar, I'm going to open this up once again. Then I'm going to scroll down to the bottom, and the widget that we need is the text widget. So I'm going to drag this up to the primary sidebar. And I want it to show up right underneath the looking for something field right here. And this is where we want to add our image. So we don't have an image yet and we don't have a link. So I'm just going to save this as a placeholder by clicking on Save. The next step is we need to add both an image as well as a new page so that we can link the image to the new page. So first I'm going to create the image, or add the image I should say, by going up to the top, hovering over plus new and clicking on media. Next I'm going to select a file by clicking on select file, and here in my files the image that I want is this one that says sign up. Then I'm going to click on open to open this file. Once the image has been uploaded, then I can edit it by clicking on edit. And the first thing I want to do is give this a little bit better of a title. Sign up is not very descriptive. So I'm going to add another title right here. Get your 14-day detox cleanse program. Then once you have the title set, you can also add an alternative text. Once you have those two things set, go ahead and highlight this URL. This is the URL that we're actually going to need. So I'm going to highlight this and copy it. Then I'm going to click on Update to update this media image. Note also that the dimensions of this particular image for the sidebar that I'm using are 300 pixels wide and 300 pixels tall. The height is doesn't really matter that much, but the width does matter because the width of the sidebar is about 300 pixels wide. So whatever image you upload, I recommend using 300 pixels for the width. Okay, so once you have your image ready to go and we've already highlighted and copied this URL, let's go back to the widget area to add the widget image, add the image to the widget. So I'm going to go back to Appearance, click on Widgets. Then I'm going to go to the primary sidebar. I'm going to go to the text widget right here, and I'm going to add some HTML to add an image to this particular widget. So I'll be sure to drop this HTML in the video in case you can't see it. Okay, so this is the code that I'm adding. This is HTML code for an image. You want an opening bracket and then IMG. Then there's a space, then it says SRC for source. then an equal sign, quotation, and then you have the actual URL of the image. Then you have another closing quotation and a closing bracket. When you have that all set and ready to go, click on Save to save this setting. Okay, so once the settings have been saved, now so far we've just added the image. We haven't linked it to anything. So the next step is we need to create a page so that we can link this image to an internal page on our website. So to create a new page, I'm going to go up to the top, hover over plus new, and click on page. Then here on my add new page screen, I'm going to start by giving my new page a title. Then here in this white box, I'm going to add some content just as we did in the previous examples. So the page that I'm going to create right now is going to be a landing page, and landing pages are used to focus attention on any kind of product or service that you're offering and a call to action that you want your reader or viewer to take. Even in the title here, we can see this is actually the call to action, which is to get your 14-day detox cleanse plan. Of course, in order to incentivize someone to actually sign up for anything, you need to give them some reasons. So I'm going to add in some demo content right here, which as we can see, I'm going to include reason number 1, why you should sign up, reason number 2, and reason number 3. So you can read all about landing pages out there on the web. There's lots of great tips out there, and I encourage you to check that out. For now, I'm just going to leave this text here. I'm also going to add an image by placing my cursor where I want the image to be displayed. I'm going to click on Add Media to add media. Next, here within the media library, I'm going to choose the image that I want, and then I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to select the display settings. So I want this alignment to be right aligned, so I'll click on right. I want it to link to nothing, so I'll click on none. And then the size that I actually want a smaller size. So I'm going to choose the 300 by 300 size. Then I'm going to click on Insert into Page to insert this into the page. When I click on the Visual tab, here we can see the image displayed next to the text. On the right-hand side, we have the page attributes, and when I scroll down, we can see there's this view right here for template. When I click on this, this is how we can create a landing page using the Genesis child theme called Lifestyle Pro. So I'm going to click on landing right here to add the landing page template. Then I'm going to scroll down. You can add your theme SEO settings for this page right here. And then the layout setting that I want actually is going to be the full width page, full width content. Then scrolling down, I'm going to turn off discussion on this page because once again, this is not a post, it's a page, and I don't want any comments happening on my landing page because that would be super distracting from my call to action. So I think we're all set and ready to go. Then I'm going to click on Publish to publish my new page. Okay, we'll be coming back to this page a little bit later in the video because I still need to add the email opt-in form to sign up for this particular offer. For now, I just want to select the URL here. So I'm going to click on View Page to view the page. We can get a quick preview of it at least. Here we see that with the landing page, the logo, the banner, the menu items are all no longer there. They're no longer displayed at the top, and the total focus of attention on this page is on your offer, your call to action, the reasons why someone should sign up, and then when we're done, we're not quite done right now, we'll take care of this in a little bit later in the video. We're going to add a call to action email opt-in form down below at the bottom. Right now though, I just want to highlight the URL of this page, highlight it and copy it, and then I want to go back to my widgets page by clicking on widgets. Here under primary sidebar, I want to click on that, and then I want to scroll down to the text placeholder here where that image was, and I need to add the link. This way, when anyone clicks on the image on the sidebar, they'll go directly to my offer on the landing page. So no worries if you can't read this. I'll be sure to drop this code in the video so you can see it a little better. Okay, so the link code that we're adding starts with bracket A href equals, there's a quotation, then you have your actual URL to the landing page, followed by a quotation, a closing bracket, and then after all of the image code right here, we have a closing link bracket right here. So this is the code that we use for both the image and the link. Then I'm going to scroll down and click on Save to save these settings. A quick little trick, if you can't remember, if you're not sure of code or if you're just learning code, a quick little trick to get the code is to simply create a temporary post or page by going up to Post, and then you can take advantage of WordPress's behind the scenes code generator by simply adding whatever it is in here. I'll add that image really quick by clicking on Add Media. This isn't part of our website, this is just a quick demo to show you how to get the code. So I'm just going to add the image in right here, this is the image, then I'll click on Insert into Post, then we can highlight it, and then we can add the link. So when you highlight anything, text or images, then you see there's this link icon right here. When I click on this link, here you can add the actual URL wherever you want this particular image to go to. So this is just a quick trick. If you can't remember how to do the code, that's how you would do it. Then you would just click on update to update it. Then when you click on save draft, and then when you click on text, here is the code that you would grab. So you would just highlight all of this and copy it, and then you would paste it in your text widget in the widget area. So that's just a quick little way to create the code if you're not familiar, if you can't remember how to create the code. Okay, so I actually don't want this page, so I'm going to move it to the trash by clicking on move to trash. And now let's just take a look at that image that we added to our sidebar. So going up to the website, I'm going to click on Visit Site. And here we have a sidebar on our website. So everything looks really good. Here is the actual image that we just added in the previous step. And when I click on it, it will go to the landing page offer on the website, which is really great. So going back to the home page, the last widget area that we need to add is the Pinterest widget area with the Pinterest images from my Pinterest profile. So going back to my dashboard, I'm going to go up to the website name and click on dashboard. And in order to create the Pinterest images in the sidebar, we need to add a new plugin. So I'm going to go down to plugins, hover over plugins and click on add new. Then here on the plugin screen, I'm going to do a search for the plugin that we need, which is the Alpine Photo Tile for Pinterest plugin. So I'm just going to add that here in the search box, and then I'm going to click on search plugins. So here we see it's at the top, Alpine Photo Tile for Pinterest. This is the one that we want. So I'm going to click on install now to install this plugin. Are you sure you want to install this? Yes, okay. And once the plugin has been successfully installed, I'm going to click on activate plugin to activate the plugin. Okay, once a plugin has been activated, now we can go back to the widgets area by hovering over appearance and clicking on widgets. Next, here in the primary sidebar, I'm going to open this up by clicking on this caret, and then I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to find the Alpine Photo Tile for Pinterest widget, which actually is at the top. So I'm just going to drag this to the bottom of my primary sidebar right there and drop it in. Then we can set up the settings for this particular plugin. So the first thing that I want to add is a title, so I'll use a call to action, get inspired, follow on Pinterest. Next, in Pinterest settings, we can choose where we want to retrieve the photos from, either from the user at large or a specific board. I'm going to choose a board because I want a specific board to show up. Next, I need to add my Pinterest username, so I'll add that in right here, along with the Pinterest board tag. So I'll just add the board tag right there, Healthy Food Inspiration. So that is the board name and the Pinterest username. Next, where it says image links, there's a number of other options. You can not link images, link to the Pinterest page, a URL, or a lightbox. I prefer a lightbox because that will keep everyone on my page. They won't be sent away from my website. So I'll choose a lightbox. I do want to include a pin it button, and I do want to display a link to the Pinterest page, so I'll click these two right here. Next, over here on style settings, there's a number of different items that you can choose right here, lots of different options. I'm going to choose windows. Next, we can choose the shape. I'm going to choose a rectangle shape, not a square. The photo size, that looks good, 192, and the number of photos that I want to have displayed, I'm going to change this to 6. Next, scrolling down, everything else looks good. I'll leave the format settings default as they are right here, and then I'm going to click on Save to save my settings. Now, when we check out the settings on the home page by going up to the site by clicking on Visit Site, now we can see our sidebar. We've got our email form, our user profile, the search box, our call to action with this leading to the landing page, some social network icons, and we have all of our beautiful Pinterest pins, which when you click on each one of these, it's going to open up into a really cool lightbox display and keep everyone right on my website. So now that we have the sidebar all set up on our website, let's also set up the footer section down below. There's a footer area right above these footer credits that we can add. So to add that, once again, I'm going to go back to the widgets section by clicking on widgets. Then here on the right-hand side, we can see there's a footer 1, 2, and 3 section widget. So there's 3 different areas for our widget section in the footer. So for footer number 1, I'm going to add those social media icons once again. So I'm going to scroll down and add those by just dragging those up into footer number 1. Now I've already gone over how to set this up, so I'm going to do this behind the scenes, but I'll just use this as a placeholder now. If you want to refer to the previous example of how we set that up, that would be great. So I'll do this behind the scenes. For now, I'm just going to close this. Next, for footer number 2, I'm going to add a short description about the website. So I'm going to open up this area by clicking on this arrow. Then I'm going to scroll down, grab the text widget, and drag that up into footer 2 widget area right there. Then I'm just going to add a title. And once I've added the title, then I'll add a short description about the website. So I'll just post in some demo content right there. Then I'm going to scroll down and click on Save to save the settings. Finally, for footer number 3, I want to add a video. So to add a video, I'm just going to drag this text widget here, drag that into the footer 3 widget area, and from here we need to go to YouTube and grab the embed code for the video. So here we are on my YouTube channel, and this is the video that I want to add to the bottom right-hand section of the footer. So to grab the embed code, I'm just going to scroll down, click on the share button right here, and then YouTube will provide the embed code down below. Now I want to create a custom size because the width of the footer section is 300 pixels wide. So I'm just going to add 300 in here. We can see that YouTube automatically adjusts the height as well. So from here, all we need to do is copy all this code, highlight it and copy it. Then going back to our widget area over here in the text view, I'm just going to paste the code in this white box. Once you've pasted the YouTube video code, you can just scroll down and click on Save to save the settings. So from here, to check out our website, I'm going to go back up to the top and click on Visit Site. And here we have our website using the Lifestyle Pro Genesis Child theme. So we have our sidebar on the right-hand side, our header, our menu items, and our blog featured post and categories. Then at the bottom we have our social icons, a short description about the site, and then a video. Okay, so the next part that we need to do is we need to add actually the landing page to the menu area right here, and then we need to completely customize this entire website. I also want to add a couple additional pages to the site as well. So for starters, let's add the landing page to the menu area right here in the secondary navigation area. I'm going to do that by going up to the top and going directly to the menus page by clicking on menus. Here on the menus page, we can see here is the new landing page that I added, Get Your 14-Day Detox Cleanse Plan. So I'm going to click on that and click on Add to Menu. Then I'm going to move it up just a little bit right after the About page right there. And I'm also going to change the title of this menu item. So I'm going to click on this button right here. And then in this area here where it says Navigation Label, I'm going to add a new label. Then I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to click on Save to save the new menu. Once the menu has been saved, now I want to add 2 more pages to my website so that I can add them to the navigation area, both the primary navigation above the banner and another menu item and the secondary menu navigation below the banner. So to create those pages, once again, I'm going to go up to the top, click on Plus New, and click on Page. Then here on the Add New Page screen, the first page that I want to create is a recipes page. So I'll just add in recipes for the title. Then I'll add some content. I'll keep it as a default template. Then I'm going to click on Publish. Actually, before I click on Publish, because this is a page, not a post, I'm going to click on Screen Options, make sure Discussion is checked right here. Then I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to turn off the discussion, comments, and trackbacks. Once again, because I prefer to keep comments on my blog posts, not on my pages. Once a page is ready to go, I'm going to click on Publish to publish this new page. Once a page has been published, the next page that I want to create is a shop page. So I'm going to do this pretty quickly since we've gone over pages already, but this is a page that I want to have appear and display above the banner, and I want it to be a shop page related to some products that we may want to offer for sale. So at the top, I'm going to hover over Plus New and click on Page. Here for the page title, I'm going to call this Shop. Then for the text here, I want to add 2 images which will represent some kind of product that I may want to offer. This could be both a physical product as well as a digital informational product. So here in this particular box, I'm going to click on the visual view so we can see what it looks like. I'm going to place the cursor in the white box and click on Add Media to add media. Then I'm going to click on Upload Files and select Files. Then once WordPress has uploaded the image to your website, here on the right-hand side you can add your title as well as the alternative text. Also note, for this particular example, I'm also going to add a caption, so I'll add the same thing right here. Okay, once you have your caption, title, and alternative text added, then scrolling down, I can choose my display settings. I will just leave it as the left align, I guess, or center. Actually, I'll put no alignment, no alignment. Link to. Now this is an important part. So when I click on this, there's lots of different options. We can click to the media file, which is the actual image itself, which is not very helpful, or an attachment page, a custom URL, or none. Usually I click on none, but in this instance I'm going to click on custom URL, because if this is an image that you actually want to sell, it would be great to be able to click on the image from within your website and be sent to another page, either to an internal page that talks about the image, or if you have an affiliate product, you can add your affiliate link right in here. I often get questions about affiliate products, so this is one option, one way to feature affiliate products on your site and include your affiliate link by just adding it right here in this field right here. So imagining that I have an affiliate account from Amazon set up, I'm just going to add the Amazon URL right here. Of course, I don't really have an Amazon affiliate link for this product, but just for the demo purpose, I'm going to add the Amazon link right here. Then for the size, let's see, of all these sizes, I'm going to go with the medium size, 200 by 300. We'll see how that looks. Once it's all ready to go and you have all the settings as you'd like them to be, go ahead and click on Insert into Page to insert this image into the page. Okay, that looks great. So I want to do this one more time because I want to add another image to my website right here. So I'm just going to click on Add Media one more time and click on Upload Files and select Files. This time I'm going to choose the Kale Recipes image right here, highlight that, click on that, and then click on Open. Next, once the image has been uploaded, I'm going to give this a title, caption, and alternative text. Okay, once I have that set up, I'm going to scroll down, and just as we did in the previous step, I'm going to say alignment none, link to. I'll make this a custom URL, and once again I'll add my Amazon link right here. Again, this is not really an affiliate link, but if you had one, you could add one right here, or an internal page or a PayPal link, or pretty much any link you'd like. And of course, if you don't want to link to anything, you can just click on none. So I'll leave it at that. The size I'll keep as medium, 200 by 300, and then when I'm all ready to go, click on Insert into Page to insert this image into the page. Okay, so here we are on the shop page, and we can see I have the two images lined vertically one by one. I actually want to have these horizontally lined up right next to one another though. So in order to adjust that, I'm just going to click on this image once, and when I do so, I get two icons, an edit icon and a delete icon. Of course, I don't want to delete anything, so instead I'm just going to click on the edit icon right here, and I need to change the alignment. Right now there's no alignment, so I'm going to set this to left alignment, then I'm going to click on update. I'm going to do the same exact thing for this image down below. I'm going to click on it once, then click on the edit icon right here, and I'm going to change the alignment from none to left alignment. Now when I click on update, these show up one by one right next to one another, which is exactly how I want to have it displayed. Once you have this set up the way you'd like, go ahead and click on publish to publish the new page. Okay, great. So now to view the page, I'm going to click on View Page. And here we see that I have my shop page with my two images, and when I click on either one of these, it's going to send me to Amazon.com because that is an external link that we set up. So once again, if you had an affiliate link, that would work out really well. For the demo though, I'm just going to keep it at Amazon.com. Then I want to add this particular page to the top primary navigation bar. So let's do that now. I'm going to go to the top, hover over the website name, and click on Menus. Then I'm going to click on Shop, but actually notice that this is the actual main primary menu, so I actually need to create another menu, the top menu. So I'm going to click on this button here that says Create a New Menu. Then here for the menu name, I'll call this Top Menu, and then Create the Menu. Click on this button right here. Once the top menu has been created, now we can add items to this particular top menu. So I'll add the shop item, shop page right there. Click on that, and then click on Add to Menu. Then once that shows up right there for the top menu, I'm going to click on Save Menu to save the menu. Now when we go to Menu Locations, Manage Locations at the top, this tab that says Manage Locations for the primary navigation menu, I'm going to select a menu by clicking on Top Menu. So now we have two menus that will be displayed on our website. The last step is I need to save this by clicking on Save Changes. Okay, great. So now to take a look at our website, I'm going to go back to the website name and click on Visit Site. And here we have the top menu right here, top menu item, the shop page, and then we have all the other items down below, which looks really great. So the other last thing that's missing though, I have not yet added the recipes page right here. So one more time, I'm going to go back to the menu by clicking on Menu. Then here where it says Recipes, I need to find the main menu. So once again, where it says select a menu to edit, I'm going to edit the secondary navigation menu right here by clicking on select. Then I'm going to click on this recipes pages that I created and click on add to menu. Then I'm just going to reorganize all of this right here. So the first thing that I want is I want this one to show up first. Then I'll add the blog page right there, or I should say the recipes page. And then, yeah, you can order this or sort this the way you'd like. So once you have everything ready to go ahead and click on Save Menu to save your menu. Once the menu has been updated, there's two more features that I want to add to the site before we check out the site. Number one, I want to add the social sharing icons to the bottom of the blog post. And number two, I want to add an email opt-in form to the bottom of blog post as well as to the bottom of the landing page. So related to regarding the email opt-in form, when we go to my completed website over here, we see this is the landing page of my completed demo site. And when we scroll down, we have this email opt-in form. So this is one of the two features that I want to add right now to the site. First though, let's add the social sharing features to the website by going back to our site. Then I'm going to click on plugins. The plugin that we're going to be using is the Jetpack plugin, which should have come with your WordPress installation. We can see it right here. I have it listed. If you don't see it here in your plugin list, then you want to go to Add New and you want to search for the Jetpack plugin. You want to install and activate this plugin. So here we have it, Jetpack by WordPress.com. I'm going to click on Activate to activate this plugin. Next we see, okay, Jetpack is almost ready, but a connection to WordPress.com is needed in order to enable the features. So I'm going to click on this button here to connect to WordPress.com. Next, we'll arrive on WordPress.com, where if you already have a WordPress.com account, you can sign in with your username and password. I already have an account, so I'll sign in just a moment. If you need an account, though, you can create a free account by clicking on this button that says Get Started. Once you click on Get Started, you'll arrive at the sign up page. The only little catch with this is that this is a sign up page to create a blog, and we already have a blog, so we really don't need a WordPress.com blog. All we really need is a WordPress.com username and password. So to kind of circumvent this part, when you come over to where it says WordPress.com free, and you click on this little arrow right here, you'll see, actually, where did it go? There we go. If you hover over this, it's kind of tricky, but if you kind of like hover over it right here, you'll get this little message that says, if you don't want a blog, you can sign up for just a username. So that's the one that we want. So I'm going to click on that link to sign up for just a username. Now you'll see that you can fill in just your email address, a username, and create a password, and then click on the button to sign up and create a WordPress.com account. So go ahead and do that now, and I'll see you on the other side once I've logged into my WordPress.com account. Once you log into your WordPress.com account and then you click on the Jetpack connection button, you should come to this page where you can authorize Jetpack to connect with WordPress.com. So I'm going to do that now by clicking on Authorize Jetpack. And here we see Jetpack has been authorized. You'll have this message that says, Welcome to Jetpack 2.9. 2.9 is the current version at the time of this recording. In addition to the welcome message, you'll also see all of these features down below, all of which you can add to your WordPress website. So the ones that we want right now, I'm just going to go down the list here. Let's see, the one that I want is Jetpack comments, so I'll go ahead and activate that by clicking on Activate. Then once the Jetpack comments have been activated, I'm going to scroll down and see the other one that I want here is the sharing feature right here. So I'm going to click on Configure to configure the social sharing features. Here on the sharing settings, when we scroll down, we can see all the different available services that we can add to the bottom of our blog post. So the ones that I want to add will include Facebook, so I'll just drag that and drop it right here. Then I'll add Pinterest, I'll also add Twitter, Google+, and the other ones I'm going to all add in this smaller More box right here. So I'll add LinkedIn and Tumblr, Reddit, and email in this box right here. And you can see a visual live preview of what it will look like on the site. So we can see here are all the different buttons and how they will be displayed underneath the blog post. Then I'm going to scroll down. The sharing label, I'll just leave it as Share This. Then where I want to show these buttons, I want to show these on my post, so I'll just click on Post, and then I'll click on Save Changes to save the changes. So now when we check out the blog post by going up to the site and clicking on Visit Site, then when I scroll down and I click on one of my blog posts right here, I'll click on this one. We can see when I scroll down to the bottom of the blog post, now we'll see these social sharing icons here. Okay, so we're good to go on the social sharing icons. The last feature that I want to add to the website is that email opt-in form at the bottom of the blog post as well as at the bottom of the landing page. So to add the magic action box, I'm going to go back to the dashboard, click on dashboard. Then here on the dashboard, I'm going to scroll down to plugins, click on plugins. Then the plugin that I need to add here, because I don't have it yet, is the magic action box. So I'm going to click on add new. Then in the search field, I'll do a search for the magic action box and click on search plugins. Then here it is right here. I'm going to click on install now. Are you sure you want to install this? Yes, okay. And once the magic action box has been successfully installed, I'm going to click on activate plugin to activate the plugin. Okay, once the plugin has been activated, now you'll see the magic action box settings on the left-hand side as well as the action box right here. From here, to continue setting up the magic action box and the email opt-in forms for your blog post and your landing page, I'm going to refer you to my other video on my YouTube channel, which shows you how to capture leads on your WordPress website with one plugin, which specifically refers to the magic action box. So in this video, I guide you step by step from scratch in completely configuring and setting up the magic action box and adding the email opt-in forms to your pages and posts. So I'll be sure to drop this link in the video so that you can check this video out and set up your email opt-in forms. Once you're done setting up your email opt-in forms by following this video, then we can jump back to our website and pretty much we're done totally adding the content to our site. So to check out the site, I'm going to go up to the top and click on Visit Site. And here we can see all of the content that we've added to the Lifestyle Pro Genesis Child theme. We have the top menu navigation area, the secondary navigation area, the title, the tagline, our featured post and categories, our sidebar. Then scrolling down, we have the footer section down below. So the final thing we need to do, this is the fun part now, we get to completely customize the complete style and look of this entire site so that when we're done, it will look just like the completed demo site over here. With a white background, larger navigation menu items, we have the Google fonts added to the title and the tagline, and we've completely customized this entire website. So the next step is let's move forward in customizing the style and design of the Lifestyle Pro Genesis Child theme. So before we start customizing the Lifestyle Pro Genesis Child theme by StudioPress, it's always a good idea to create a child theme so that our changes are not overwritten when the developer comes out with an update to the framework or the theme. In the case of the Lifestyle Pro Child theme, though, we already have a child theme. The Lifestyle Pro theme is the child theme, and the Genesis framework acts as the parent theme. So we have our parent theme, and we already have our child theme. The question then is, how do you safely customize a child theme? So in order to do that, we need to create a custom style sheet for our child theme. So I'm going to refer you to this video where I guide you step by step from scratch in creating a custom style sheet. This is a really important thing to do so that once again, when any updates come out to the Lifestyle Pro Child theme, your changes and customizations will not be overwritten. So I encourage you to first check out this video, and once you've set up your custom style sheet, then I'll join you back on the website where we can begin creating our customizations to the Lifestyle Pro Genesis Child theme. So back on my WordPress website, I've already created the custom style sheet, so now I can safely customize the Lifestyle Pro Genesis Child theme. The first part that I want to customize is this top section with the top menu, the secondary menu, the banner, the title, and the tagline. This was a request that I received from Shelly, so thank you, Shelly, so much for the question. This is a common section that pretty much everyone wants to know how to customize because it's the first thing that we see on the website. So let's take care of customizing this section, starting with this green, emerald green kind of block banner right here. I want to transform this and change this to an actual image. So the first thing that I want to do is I need to upload the image that I want to add to replace this green section right here. So going up to my top toolbar, I'm going to click on plus new and click on media, and I'm going to upload the header image. Here on the new media screen, I'm going to click on select files. Then here among my files, I'm going to choose this file. This is one that I want to add to my site. I'm going to highlight that, click on that, and click on Open to upload this file to my WordPress website. Once the image has been uploaded, then I'm going to click on this button to edit the image. Then here on the Edit Media screen, I'm going to give the uploaded image a new title and alternative text since this is not very descriptive. So I'll just call it by my URL right here. So just add that, and then I'll add the alternative text down below. Next, the important part is that I want to highlight this URL here. We're going to need this in just a moment. So I'm going to highlight this and copy it. Then I'm also going to update the changes that I made to the image. Then once we've highlighted and copied the URL for the header image, I'm going to go back to the website by clicking on Visit Site. And here I'm going to open up a developer tool called Inspect Elements. This is a tool that you can find in the Google Chrome browser. So here I am in Google Chrome. I'm going to go up to the top right-hand side, click on these three lines, which will give me a drop-down box. I'm going to click on Tools, and then I'm going to click on Developer Tools. This will open up the Inspect Elements panel. On the left-hand side, you'll see all of the different HTML code. That's the different structure and layout of the home page. And on the right-hand side, you can see all of the different CSS styles. Now, the great thing about this particular Inspect Elements tool is that this kind of acts as a sandbox. We can change all the different styles on the right-hand side, and it will not be actually set in the website until we add the new code to our custom style sheet. So this is a safe place to experiment with various styles. Okay, so now I want to find the code that is generating this emerald banner background right here. So drilling down one by one, we can see when I click on different code, it highlights different sections of the site here, and that is kind of a good indicator that we're getting close to the code that we need. So here we can see this is the primary navigation bar, and then here we have the site header, and this is what we want. So you can see when I click on this right here, then the exact section that I need highlights, so that indicates that we're on the right code. On the right-hand side, we can see that the CSS code is .site-header, and we can also see the palette color here, this emerald color for the background color. So I want to replace this color with an image, so I'm going to click on background here, and I'm going to remove the color section of, or color part of the actual code, and I'm just going to leave it as background. Then instead of having this color, I'm going to replace that with an image by adding the image right here. And no worries if you can't see this, I'll be sure to add this in the video so you can see it a little bit better. And there we go. So we can see that I just replaced the emerald color with this new background. So next I'm going to copy all of this right here, all of this code that I just created. I'm going to highlight it and copy it, and then I'm going to add it to my custom style sheet. So going back to my custom style sheet, I'm going to click on Dashboard. Then I'm going to scroll down to Appearance and click on Editor. And here in the Edit Themes panel, we can see that we have two different styles. The original child theme style sheet right here, which I'm not going to touch. I'm going to leave that as it is, and instead I'm going to add all of my custom styles to the custom.css file so that the changes will be safely added, and if any kind of updates are added to the Lifestyle Pro theme, then our customizations will not be lost. So this is a really important thing. So I'm going to click on custom.css, and this is where I'm going to add all my custom styles, starting with the image in the banner section right here. Now note that once we add this, it's not totally complete. We have this opening kind of tilde bracket right here. We need to close this off with a closing tilde bracket. So this is what we have, .site-header, there's a space, there's an opening tilde bracket, it says background with a colon, a space, URL, parentheses, quote, and then here we have the actual image URL, followed by a quotation, a parentheses, a semicolon, and the closing bracket. So I'll be sure to drop all this in the video so you can see it really easily. Then I'm going to come down here and click on Update File to update my file. So looking at the code really quick of the site header, I just noticed that I forgot to add one small element, so I'm just going to add that in here. I'm going to add the no repeat code right here within the CSS. So I'll be sure to drop that as well in the video. Once you add no repeat, then I'm going to scroll down and click on Update File to update the file. Once the file has been edited successfully, then we can check out the changes by going up to the top, hovering over the website name, and clicking on Visit Site. Here we can see the image in the banner section, so that looks really good so far. The banner is starting to take some shape. The next step is I want to change the title as well as the tagline by adding some Google Fonts. Google Fonts are a great and easy way to add some extra design elements to your website, and the best part is that they're free. So to add Google Fonts is a two-step process. Number one, we need to go to google.com/fonts, and we need to find the font that we want. So for the title, I want to add a kind of script handwritten kind of script font, which I'm going to use the Sacramento one right here. So here we see what it will look like. Normal 400 is the weight of it, and we can see that it has this handwritten effect. So this is the one that I want. To add this to the site, there's a button here, and when you hover over it, actually, or click on it, it should say Quick Use. So that's the one we want. I'm going to click on Quick Use. Then we can see here it is right here, Sacramento. When I scroll down, I'm going to leave the character set to Latin. That looks good. Then there's 3 different ways to add this code to your website, either a standard, import, or a JavaScript method. So the method I'm going to use is the method that is recommended on the studiopress.com site. So I'm going to click on @import. Then I'm going to grab all of this code right here. I'm going to highlight it and copy it. Then going back to my website, I'm going to click on Dashboard. Then I'm going to scroll down to Appearance and Editor. Then I'm going to go to custom.css. And step number 1 is we need to add the Google Fonts to our custom style sheet. Note that it's important to add the Google Fonts at the top of the style sheet, not at the bottom. If you add them underneath the other code, then they will actually not work. So make sure that when you do add Google Fonts, you add them first before adding any of the other styles. Once you've added the Google Font import code at the top, then scroll down. Step number 2 is we need to associate this font with some of the code, some styles on the page. So to find which style that would be for the title, I'm going to go back to the site, click on Visit Site, and here we are on the website. Now there's 2 methods to open up Inspect Elements. Number 1, we can go up to the top right-hand side as we did previously, click on the 3 lines, then click on Tools, and then click on Developer Tools, or a faster method to go directly to Inspect Elements when you're on a Mac is to hover over the element that you want, click on the Control key, then click on your mouse or your keyboard. This will open up a box, and then you can go directly to Inspect Elements. Now if you're on a PC, you can do the same thing by right-clicking and then clicking on Inspect Elements. So going forward, this is the method I'll be using in the video, since this is a much faster way to open up Inspect Elements. Once again, all you need to do is click on the Control key, then click on your mouse or keyboard when you're hovering over this particular section, the element that you want, then click on Inspect Elements, and if you're on a PC, right-click and click on Inspect Elements. Okay, great. So when I do that, when I open up Inspect Elements, when I'm looking at this title, we can see that it goes directly to the code that I need right here. And on the right-hand side, we can see the code that needs to be changed. So .site-title, and then there's a space in A, we can see that the color is white, and this is the code that we need to change. Now scrolling down the CSS here, just scrolling down, we can see all the other different styles for this particular element, and let's see if we can find the current font family. So here we see it's crossed out, Roboto, Slab, and Sans Serif, but here it is right here. So .site-title, and then we see the font family is this Sans Serif Roboto Slab font right here, and this is the one that I want to change. So just clicking in this area right here in my little sandbox, I'm going to change this to Sacramento, making sure that I include 2 different hyphens in between here. We can see automatically it changes to that handwritten kind of font right here that we've added to our custom style sheet. So that looks good so far. Now the other thing is this is rather small, so I want to change the font size from 50 pixels. I'm going to change it to 84 pixels. I'll just make it a little bit larger. And there we go. We can actually make it a little bit smaller. But anyway, so that gives us a general idea. Okay, so once we have that all set, then I'm just going to highlight the code that I just changed in my little sandbox here, highlight it and copy it. Now I'm going to go back to my custom style sheet by clicking on Dashboard. Then I'm going to scroll down to Appearance and click on Editor. Then I'm going to click on custom.css to go to the custom style sheet, and then I'm going to paste the code that I just copied in the previous step, making sure that I close it all off with a closing bracket. So we have the opening bracket right here, and we have the closing bracket right here. I'll be sure to drop this code in the video so you can see it a little bit better. Then I'm going to scroll down and click on Update File, to update the file. Once a file has been edited successfully, we can check it out by going up to the top and clicking on Visit Site. And here we see the new title font with a larger size and the Sacramento Google font. Okay, so the next step is here for this description. It's a little bit small, it's hard to read, so I want to increase the size of the font, and I also want to add a Google font here as well. So to add Google Fonts here, I'm going to go back to the Google Fonts page. This time I want to add a Josephine Sans font, so it's going to look like this. Then I'm going to click on the middle button here that says Quick Use, and once again I'm going to choose the style that I want. 400 is a little bit small, so I think I'll go with the semi-bold of 600 to make it a little bit stronger. Actually, I'll go with bold of 700. We'll see what that looks like. Then I'm going to scroll down, click on the @import symbol right here, and I'm going to copy all of this code right here. Once I copy that, I'm going to go back to my website. I'm going to go to the custom style sheet by clicking on Dashboard, going down to Appearance, clicking on Editor, then clicking on custom.css. Once again, as we did in the previous example, I'm going to add my Google Fonts right here, add it right there, and then I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to click on Update File. Now note that I've included all of these different versions of the Josephine Sans. I actually don't want that because the more Google Fonts you add to your page, you can kind of start to slow down the page. So I definitely don't want to slow down the page with fonts that I'm not using. So just checking on the Google Fonts right here, when I go back up to the top, it looks like I had checked all of these. I don't want all of these checked, so I'm going to uncheck these two. And you can also see on the right hand side the page load time, the expected page load time. So note that when you click a lot of these, it's just going to keep going up. We don't want that. So I'm going to uncheck the ones I don't need, and I'm only going to use the one that I want, which is the bold 700. So copying this one more time, highlighting it and copying it, then going back to my site here, I'm going to replace this version with my new version, which is just one version of the Josephine Sans Google Fonts. Then I'm going to scroll down and click on Update File to update my file. Once a file has been updated successfully, now we need to tag this Google font to a specific element on the page, just as we did in the previous example. So going back to the site, I'm going to click on Visit Site. Then here where the description is, I'm going to hold down my Control key on my Mac and then click on the mouse key. Then I'm going to click on Inspect Element. Once again, if you're on a PC, you can click on right click. And when you right click, then you can click on Inspect Elements. Okay, so here we see the particular site description right here, and we can see it right here on the right hand side, the CSS. So scrolling down just to check out the font family, we can see once again it's this Roboto Slab Sans Serif right here, and it's the H2 header 2 section. Now I don't want to do this for all H2s throughout the entire site. I really just want it to be specific related to the site description because I only want this Google font right here. I don't want it on every header 2 within my entire website. So scrolling down, let's just check to see if the font family is listed anywhere else, and it looks like it's not. So in that case, here where it says site description, I'm going to add a new font family by just clicking in here. Then I'm going to type in font-family. Then I'm going to add a kind of hyphen or a little line. I'm going to add in the Josephine Sans and then close it off right there, and then we can see it has changed down below. Now note that the font size is really small right now, so I'm going to change it from 16 pixels. I'm going to double that to about 34 pixels, and we'll see how that looks. So that looks a lot easier to see, so I'm going to use that size instead. Okay, so then I'm just going to copy all of this code right here. I'm going to highlight it and copy it. Note that I'm not going to be adding any of the code that we haven't changed. So we haven't changed the color or the line height or the margin. So actually I might change the line height so that it's syncs up well with the font size, but otherwise I'm not going to really add the color. But I'm going to copy everything right now because it's a lot easier to copy everything and delete it later. Once you've highlighted and copied all of this code right here, then I'm going to close this out and go back to my custom style sheet by clicking on Dashboard, then going down to Appearance and Editor. Then I'm going to click on my custom.css file, and then I'm going to paste my code that I just copied in the previous step, making sure that I close it off with a closing tilde bracket. Okay, now as I mentioned, I didn't change the color, so I'm going to delete that because that's not a custom code, that's the original code. And the font size I'm going to keep at 34 pixels. The line height, actually I do want to change that because it's doubled, I doubled the size of the font. So I'll make this about 40 pixels. And then I did not change the margins either, so I'll leave it like that. Once you have everything ready to go, and I'll be sure to drop this code in the video so you can see it a little bit better, then you want to click on Update File to update the file. Now going back to the site by going up to the top and clicking on Visit Site, now we can see the new title right here. We have our new title with the Google font, and we also have our description with a Google font and a larger size. So looking at this top section right here, the next part that I want to customize is the top menu right here, as well as the secondary menu down below. Number one, the font is a little bit small, so I want to increase the size. I also need to change the background color here from emerald to white. And finally, once again, I want to add some Google fonts. This will be the last Google font that we'll add. So going back to Google Fonts, the one that I want to add is the Open Sans Condensed. So there it is. I'm going to click on the middle Quick Use button. Then I want the Light 300 version. That looks good. I'm going to scroll down, click on At Import, highlight this import code and copy it. I'm going a little bit faster because we've already gone over this twice. Then going back to my website, I'm going to go to the dashboard. Then I'm going to go down to Appearance and Editor, click on Custom.css, and finally I'm going to add my new Google font right after the other ones right above. So all the Google fonts are at the top. Then I'm going to scroll down and click on Update File to update the file. The next step is I'm going to go back to the site by clicking on Visit Site. Then I need to find what this particular code is, so I'm going to hover over that, and then on my Mac I'm going to hold down the Control key and click on the mouse, and then I'm going to click on Inspect Element. Here we can see when I open up Inspect Elements, we see that the element is highlighted here on the left-hand side. It starts with href, and then on the right-hand side we can see the CSS styles. So when I scroll down and I look for font family, I'm just going to scroll down here. Here we see the .genesis-nav-menu, and here we can see the font size. So number one, I want to increase the font size, so I'm just going to uncheck this and I'm going to change it from 14 to 24 to make it larger. So that looks better. And the other thing is I want to add my Google fonts. So once again, I'm going to click in this section right here, add font-family, and then I'm going to add the little line Open Sans Condensed with a closing line. So now we can see the new Google font and the larger size. That looks pretty good. We'll see, I might change that and make it larger later, but for now that looks okay. Okay, so I'm going to highlight all of this. This is what I want to add to my website. So I'm going to highlight all of that and copy it. Then I'm going to go back to the custom style sheet by going up to the top, clicking on Dashboard. Then I'm going to go down to Appearance, then to Editor. Then I'm going to click on Custom.css and I'm going to paste the code that I just copied in the previous step, making sure that I finish it all off with a closing tilde bracket. For the font size here, we want it to be 24, so I'm going to reduce or eliminate that 1.44 rem. I'm going to delete that. And for line height, I'll make this 30 pixels to make it a little bit higher than the actual font size. I'll be sure to drop this code in the video. Once you have that set, go ahead and click on Update File to update the file. Once the file has been updated successfully, now we can check it out by going up to the top and clicking on Visit Site. And here we can see the new Google font added to the top menu as well as to the secondary menu, and we can also see that the size is much larger, which is really great. It's a lot easier to see. Now the next step is I want to change this green background to a white background. We also need to change the color of these menu navigation items, and finally I want to capitalize all of them. So we've got a few more styling elements to change on the top and secondary menu items. So let's start with the green background since that's the most obvious thing. So I'm just going to open up Inspect Elements right here by clicking on Inspect Elements. Then I'm just going to kind of scroll the page up so we can see this green bar right here. Then I need to go to where this green bar starts, and it looks like it starts at the nav secondary, .nav-secondary code right here, because we can see here is the palette for the background color. So this is what I want to change. I want to turn it from green to white, so I'm just going to click in here. Then I'm going to override it by adding my white color code, which is 6Fs. There we go, 6 Fs, and we can see automatically it changes to white. Now, note that we cannot see the words anymore because those are also white colored, so it kind of blends in with the background. So we'll also change the color of the font in just a moment. Right now, I'm just going to copy the nav secondary code right here with the background color, highlight it and copy it. Then I'm going to close this and go back to my dashboard. Then I'm going to scroll down to Appearance and click on Editor. And then finally over here, I'm going to click on custom.css to go to my custom style sheet, scroll down, and then I'm going to paste in the code that I just copied in the previous step. So I'll be sure to drop this code in the video. It's .nav-secondary, and then the background color is white, which are 6 Fs. Once that's all set, go ahead and click on Update File to update the file. Once the file has been updated, then we can check it out once again by clicking on Visit Site. And now we can see it's all white, so that looks good. Note that we can't see the words very well though. So the next step is I want to find out what the code is for these fonts right here, and I want to change them from white to a color that we can actually see. So I'm going to open up Inspect Elements once again. Then once I open up Inspect Elements, we can see on the left-hand side the HTML that is creating this element right here. And on the right-hand side, we can see the styles. So this white color right here, where it says 3 Fs, this is the white palette, and this explains why we cannot see many of the items in the menu area because they are white on a white background. So the first step is I want to change these menu items here from white to a steel gray color. So I'm just going to click in here. Then I'm going to add my gray color code, and now we can see all of these different items are now visible, which is really great. The other thing I want to do is I want to capitalize all of these, so I'm going to add some additional code down here below by clicking in this little box. Then I'm going to add some text transform CSS code like so. Make it uppercase, and now everything is uppercase. So I prefer this kind of view. If you prefer lowercase, then that's great too. Simply, you don't need to add the text transform. So I'm going to copy all of this right here. The main pieces I need are the text transform with uppercase and the color. I'll remove all the other things in just a few moments, but I'm going to copy it all because it's a lot easier to copy it all in one fell swoop, and then I'll delete it later. So I'm going to copy it right there, highlight it and copy it. Then I'm going to close this, go back to my dashboard by clicking on Dashboard. Then I'm going to go to Appearance and Editor. Next, I'll click on Custom CSS. And then finally, I'm going to scroll down the bottom and paste the code that I just copied in the previous step, making sure that I close it out with this closing bracket. Then I'm going to delete everything that was not customized. So, for example, this whole section was not customized. The only thing that was customized was the color and the text transform, so I'll add that, and then I'll click on Update File to update the file. Now I'm going to go back to the site by going to the top and clicking on Visit Site. Now we can see all the different menu items being displayed, so that looks really good. Now the next thing is when I hover over each one of these, I actually want this to turn red to kind of make it stand out and pop out a little bit. So in order to change the hover color, once again, I'm going to open up Inspect Elements, then scroll the page up so we can see the menu navigation area right here. And now within Inspect Elements, on a Mac, I'm going to hold down the Control key and I'm going to click on my mouse to open up this Force Element State. I believe on a PC it would be right click and then look for Force Element State. So once again, on a Mac, I'm holding down the Control key and I'm also clicking on my mouse, my keypad, which opens up this box once again, Force Element State, and the Force Element State I want is Hover. So I'm going to click on that right there, and that will give us the code that is showing this particular hover code right here. So here we see there's a little dot that designates the hover effect, and here on the right hand side we can see the actual code right there. Now the current code is this 222 number, and this is the actual code that I want to change. So I'm going to pop in a red color right here. Then we can see when I pop in the red color, then the current page changes to red. So when I hover over each of these will also turn to red. So I'm going to copy this code right here, and I'm going to add this to my custom style sheet. So I'm going to copy all of this code right here, highlight it and copy it. Then I'm going to close my Inspect Elements, go back to the dashboard, go down to Appearance and click on Editor, then go to my custom style sheet. And then at the bottom of the custom style sheet, I'm going to paste in the code that I just copied in the previous step. Then I'm going to click on Update File to update my file. Okay, now to check out the site, I'm going to go up to the top and click on Visit Site. Then here on the home page, we can see that the current page is now red, and when I hover over each of the other items here, those turn red as well. So that looks really great. So that is how you customize the top section of the Genesis Child theme called Lifestyle Pro. We have the top menu item that has been customized, the banner, the title, the tagline, and all the menu items. Okay, now scrolling down the page, we have a little bit more to go here, starting with this bar right here. We see that all the bars are all this kind of emerald green color, which I'm not really that fond of. I want it to match the red color right here that we see right here. So in order to change this, once again, I'm going to open up Inspect Elements. Then I'm going to pull this up so I can see it a little better. And here on the right-hand side, we can see the emerald color right here, this background color. So I'm going to change this and pop in that same red color that I used in the menu area. Add that there, and that looks so much better. Then I'm just going to copy this code right here, highlight it and copy it, close Inspect Elements, go back to the dashboard, then go to Appearance and Editor. Then I'll click on the Custom Style Sheet, and then at the bottom of the style sheet, I'm going to paste in the code that I just copied in the previous step, making sure that I close it off with this tilde bracket. Okay, then I'm going to click on Update File to update the file. Now going back to the site by clicking on Visit Site, here we see the bar is all red, which is really great. Okay, that looks good. So the last one here is we have this footer section, so I'm going to open up Inspect Elements on this as well. And once again, we see the site footer has this emerald color. I'm just going to copy it because I know exactly what that color is now. So I'm just going to copy all this code with the emerald color. I'll change the emerald color in just a moment. Once that's copied, I'm going to go back to the dashboard. Then I'm going to scroll down to Appearance and Editor. I'm going to click on custom.css, scroll to the bottom, and paste the code that I just copied in the previous step, making sure that I close it off with this tilde bracket, keeping in mind that this color right here is the emerald color. So we either want to change this emerald color by replacing it with this red color right above, or I actually am going to add this and make it a gray color because I don't want the footer to really stand out very much. I want it to kind of blend in with the white background. So I'm going to add a light gray color here. We'll see what that looks like in just a moment. I'm going to click on Update File to update the file. Now going up to the site, I'm going to click on Visit Site. Then scrolling down to the bottom, here we see the really neutral color gray color footer with the words right here. Now note that we can't really see this because all the different font colors are white on gray. It's really hard to read. So I'm going to change that as well by clicking on Inspect Element. Then we can see I'm going to drill down one at a time. Here we go. And here we see the site footer is P. Let's see where we can find that. So here is the site footer right here. The color is this white color, so white is really hard to read, so I'm going to change that to a gray color. Now we can at least see the copyright and the non-linked words right here, but the other thing is that note that there's these links right here, and those are also white. So for example, when I click on this A right here and then I scroll down, I should be able to find here at the top we see the .site-footer and an A. This is also white, which is hard to read. So I'm going to change that as well. And now I can see these credits a lot easier on my footer section. So I'm just going to highlight all of this. I'm going to keep in mind that I need to add this twice, one with the link and one without the link. The A refers to a link. So I'm going to copy this. No worries, I'll drop all this code in the video if I'm going too fast. So I'm going to copy all that, highlight it and copy it, and then go back to the dashboard. Then I'm going to go down to Appearance and Editor. Then I'm going to click on custom.css, scroll to the bottom, and paste the code I just copied in the previous step, making sure that I finish it off with a closing bracket. And I'm going to add this twice because one time is with the A and one time is without the A. So this particular one is just non-linked text, and this is text that has a link associated with it. So both of these will have the gray color. Then I'm going to click on this button to update the file. Okay, so now when I check out the site by going up to the top and clicking on Visit Site, now when I scroll to the bottom, we can see, now I can see the credits really well, and this footer kind of blends in with the white background. I'm going to be changing this background as well to white, so this will look even better. So coming up to the top, here to find this background right here, I'm going to open Inspect Elements. Let's see if we can find this image right here, and it's the first one that pops up. We can see that it has a kind of gradient to it. There's a fabric or canvas look. This is actually an image. So when I take it off by removing it right here, I don't know if you can see it, but it's a lot smoother. It's kind of this cream color, and that is this particular section right here where it says body, and the background color is this EF, which is a cream color. So when I turn that to white by just adding my white color code, now we can see this background looks really, really clean. So I'm going to just memorize this, keep this in mind. This body background color is white, and then meanwhile, this particular image, I'm going to copy this code right there, highlight that, and copy it so that we can remove that canvas image from the background on the home page and throughout the site. So once this code has been copied, I'm going to close this, go back to the dashboard, then go down to Appearance and Editor. Then I'm going to click on my custom style sheet, scroll to the bottom, and paste the code I just copied in the previous step. Noting that the background image I want to say is none, I'm going to add a semicolon and a closing bracket, and then finally I'm going to add my body background color of white. Okay, once we have the code ready to go, I can click on this button here to update the file. Now checking out our site, I'm going to go up to the top and click on Visit Site. And here we can still see this fabric image right here. So what is going on with that? I'm going to click on this one more time to click on Inspect Elements. And here we can see it's still showing up. So what is going on with that? So I think what I need to do is I'm going to go back to this particular item right here. I'm going to go back to the dashboard. Then I'm going to go down to Appearance and Editor. Then I'm going to click on Custom.css. I'm going to scroll to the bottom, and here where it says background none, I'm going to add an important tag to totally override whatever code is forcing that to continue to be displayed. So whenever you add this exclamation point, important, and semicolon, it will really kind of force the change to go through. I try and use this sparingly, but in this case, let's see if this works. So I'm going to click on Update File. Then I'm going to go up to Visit Site to visit the site. And now we can see that the image has been removed. Okay, so we're almost done with the entire website. We have just a few more things left to add. So scrolling down, when we hover over the title, for example, we see this turns green, and the Read More link is also turning green as well. So I want to make both of these two items, I want to make them these red colors so that it's more complementary of the rest of the website. So opening up Inspect Element, I'm going to find out what the code is for that particular item. Note that this is a hover code. This only really happens when you hover over this particular title, then it turns green. So I want it to turn red. So to find the hover element here, I'm just going to hold down the Control key on my Mac, click on my keyboard, then I'm going to choose a force element state of hover, and then we can see here on the right hand side the entry title with the A and the hover code right here for the CSS style. Then I'm going to add the red color right here instead of the green emerald color, and I'm going to highlight and copy this entire code. So I'm just highlighting it and copying it, and at the same time I'm also going to look up the Read More because I'm going to do this in one big swoop. So looking up Inspect Element for the Read More button, here we can see here is the emerald green color, and this is a really simple one, an easy one to remember because it's simply an A. So all we need to remember, this code is the A, and A in CSS language is the link. So okay, keeping that in mind, I'm going to close this, go back to my dashboard, then I'm going to scroll down to Appearance and Editor, then I'm going to click on Custom.css, scroll to the bottom, and I'm going to paste the code that I just copied in the previous step. Also, I'm going to add the A code for the link, and I'm going to also add the same red color to that as well. Okay, so once we have the code here, both of these are red, so the red for the title and red for the Read More hyperlink, I'm going to click on Update File to update the file. Once the file has been updated, I'm going to go up to the top and click on Visit Site to visit the site. Then when I scroll down, and now when I hover over this title, we see it turns red, which is really great because it matches the rest of the site. So the last thing that I want to add right here we have the eNews Extended plugin. In the video on my YouTube channel, I did go over how to customize this, but just to complete this entire website right now, I want to customize this as well. So I'm going to open up Inspect Element one last time. Then here in Inspect Element, we can see the HTML here on the left-hand side with the widget eNews widget. On the right-hand side, here we see there's a sidebar widget, there's dot widget, then there's all this other code, and actually I do not see the eNews widget, so I'm going to add that in myself. So here where it says dot sidebar, I'm just going to add some code in here. We'll just override this for the moment. Once again, this is really great with Inspect Element because it is a sandbox that we can experiment with. So I'm just going to add .enews -widget. Then I'm going to add the background color like so. Okay, and that turns it green. I'm also going to change the button to a red color so it matches. So first I'm just going to grab this code right here, this .sidebar.enews -widget. I'm going to copy that, close Inspect Element, go back to the dashboard. Then I'm going to hover down to Appearance and Editor. I'm going to click on custom.css, scroll to the bottom, and paste the code I just copied in the previous step, noting that I'm going to add an opening bracket and the background, which this time I want to be this green color, so I'm going to add the green color in there and then have a closing bracket. Then I'll click on Update File to update the file. Now going back to the site, I'm going to click on Visit Site. We're almost done. And then here we have the eNews widget. That looks good so far. Now this particular button, I want to have that turn orange or red, the same red as this red here in the menu item. So I'm going to find out what that code is by clicking on Inspect Element. And here we see when I open this up a little bit more, here is the button code right here, this background color. So I'm going to highlight this entire thing, all of these codes, all the button codes. So I'm going to highlight them and copy them. Then I'm going to go back to my dashboard, go to Appearance and Editor. Then I'm going to click on custom.css. And once again, I'm going to paste the code that I just copied in the previous step, noting that the color is going to be red. So this is the emerald color, but I've used this red color often enough that I know it's this F color up above. So I'm going to highlight it and copy it, and then I'm just going to override this current green emerald color like that. Then once I have all the codes set, I'm going to click on Update File to update the file. There's one last piece to this. When I go up to the top and click on Visit Site, now when I scroll down, we have the red button. So this particular eNews widget area, this is really important because this is a great way to capture leads on your website when you have an email opt-in form like this. So you want to make it kind of like pop out from other elements on the page. Okay, so the last thing though is that this black on green is a little bit hard to read. I want to make that white. So I'm going to change that to white by opening up Inspect Element, and then here we see it's this H4 right there. All the header 4s throughout the site are this black color, and that's fine, but on this particular background I don't want it to be black. I want it to be white. So let's find the eNews widget area right here. So we're going to use the same thing. It's going to be .sidebar.enews-widget. Then there will be a space, and then it will say H4, and then we'll have the white color. So that's how we'll do that, because otherwise if I change the H4 right now, if I just use this code right here, that's going to turn all the header 4s throughout the entire site white, and then we won't be able to see some of them because they'll be white on white. So just keeping in mind this is an H4 tag, so that's good to know. So I'm going to close that, go back to the dashboard, scroll down to Appearance and Editor. Then I'm going to click on custom.css, scroll to the bottom. I'm going to borrow this code right here because this is related to the eNews widget. I'm just going to borrow that by copying it and pasting it, and this time though I'm going to add that H4 tag in addition. So this is referring to the sidebar. It's this eNews widget in the sidebar, and it's the header 4 in the eNews widget. And then I'm going to add the color of white, making sure that you end it with a semicolon and a closing bracket. So whenever you add these codes, I'm sure we've gotten this so far, there's always an opening bracket and a closing bracket, and every line has a semicolon after it. Okay, then I'm going to click on Update File to update the file. Now when I go back to the site by clicking on Visit Site, now we see this is so much easier to read with white on green. So if you made it so far, congratulations, because you should have a WordPress website using the Lifestyle Pro Genesis Child theme that looks something like this. This is a completely customized professional WordPress website. Let's do a quick review of all the different elements within the site that we've created in this video. Starting at the top, we have our customized banner with a background image along with some custom Google fonts in both the title and the description and the menu items. Then we have our featured post on the home page along with some featured categories. This is the first category right here. Then we have 2 other featured categories. Then down below we have the footer section where we feature some social network icons so anyone can easily connect with you throughout the social web, either to Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, or YouTube. There's a short description about the website in the middle, and then we have a video. On the top right hand side in the sidebar we have the all-important email opt-in form. This is front and center, so this is really important because this is one of the best ways to capture leads on your website is by having an email opt-in form. Next we have a short bio with a thumbnail pic, a search box so anyone can easily find content throughout your website, and then we have a call to action here which leads directly to a landing page where you can feature your services or some kind of offer. Then we have our social network icons once again, and finally we have a beautiful display of all the different Pinterest pins that you've collected on whatever board you've set up. As we note, when I click on this, it opens up into a really lovely display here, a little light box display, so we can see all the different images right on the site, and we're not sending anyone away to another site, which is really great. Now, looking at some of the internal pages that we've created in this video, starting with the blog page, I'm going to go to the blog page, and here we have the blog archive page with all the blog posts that we've added to our website. So taking a look at one of the blog posts, I'm going to click on this particular one. Here we have the blog post title, the date, the author, and any comments. Then we have an image, and then we have our actual content right there, the text, followed up by another email opt-in form. So again, it's so important to add these email opt-in forms pretty much anywhere you can on your website because again, it's a great way to capture leads, and after someone reads content and gets to the end, this is a perfect location to feature your email opt-in form because most likely if someone has read that far, they'd be interested in receiving whatever it is that you may have to offer that is related to your site. Then underneath the email opt-in form we have our social network icons so anyone can easily share your content across the social web either to Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Google, or some other social network. And then finally at the bottom we have our comment form where someone can leave a comment. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the other pages starting with the About page. Here we have our full width page. There's no sidebar, just a short description and a picture or an image. Then we have I just call this a recipes because this total website is about pressed juices and wellness. So I added a page here, just you can add anything. It could be a services or products. For here, I just called it recipes and there's just a short little page here. Then we have our landing page. Again, a landing page is a great way to focus attention completely on the offer that you want to present to someone. We have our call to action, the different reasons why someone should sign up, reason 1, reason 2, and then reason 3. And then at the bottom we have our all-important email opt-in form once again so anyone can take advantage of this offer by signing up. After the landing page right here, then we have a contact form where anyone can easily contact you directly from within your website by simply filling out their name, their email, the subject, and a message, and submitting a message by clicking on the send button. Finally, last but not least, we have a shop page where when I click on shop, here we can see a couple of items, and in this video I showed you how you can link each of these different items to either an external page such as to Amazon if you have an Amazon affiliate account or some other type of affiliate accounts, or you can link it to an internal page, or you can just leave it right here as it is with no link at all. So this is the WordPress website that we created in this video using the Lifestyle Pro Genesis Child theme. Thank you so much everyone for staying with me, and thank you Shelly for the inspiration to create this video with this particular theme. I hope this video was helpful to all of you. If it was, please feel free to leave a comment below, like the video, and share this video with your friends. I will be coming out with more videos related to WordPress, Genesis, and how to build your business on the web, so please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Last but not least, all the conversation continues on my website at 77webstudio.com, so feel free to head on over to my website to continue the conversation. One more thing before I sign off, I just want to mention that I've begun pinning things on Pinterest. So if you are on Pinterest, feel free to connect with me here. Here I'll be pinning things related to WordPress, themes that I love, quotes that inspire me, and much more. Also, if you're on Twitter, feel free to connect with me at 77webstudio. Until next time, I hope you have a great week and continue learning new skills that help you to build your business on the web.